Tornado Attack Podcast, episode 174. We are live here. We're going to talk WrestleMania 10. Yeah, can you plug that in?
We are talking WrestleMania 10, and someone might plug something in, but has nothing to do
It's the plug.
with WrestleMania 10. I'm just going to keep talking right
Yeah,
over
please do
it.
that. Cover for me here.
So we're going back to 1994. I thought it was 95.
It was 94, yeah.
I thought it was 95 too. When I was doing the math, I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
95.
Yeah, because they said WrestleMania 1 was 95. So you're like, well, 10 years is then.
Why?
It's
what,
1995.
What makes it 94 then? Did they just have
Because
a little, like, explain that
if
to
you
me?
count 10 years, right, we're counting the year that it's happening.
Yeah, there's no WrestleMania 0.
Yeah.
So you start
yeah.
at 1.
Okay, yeah, okay.
So that's why.
Okay.
It's always easy for me because I age with the WrestleManias, so my age is that number. So I was 10, and I was 10
Aw.
in 1994.
Yeah. So we'll be talking all about that and probably a little current day stuff here.
Yeah, we do have some current day news. So yeah, we're trying some different things out. We had some interviews lately. We've had some current old topics, and then we every now and then we had some current day stuff. We just covered like current day pay-per-views, and it seems like listening wise more people are into the current day stuff, which is strange to me because I feel like there's 1,000 podcasts that do weekly reviews and weekly current stuff, and we try to be different by doing the history stuff, and our numbers audio have gone down tremendously. So you as a listener, I mean, if you're still here and you like it, let us know. We're trying to gauge what we should do here, if we should change it up, Well,
sometimes people just like to hear a certain group's opinion on the shows.
Yeah. That's me. I mean, I love listening to Cornette for that reason.
Even though there's more,
I can care less about Cornette's opinion. If I like it, I like it. I don't need to hear someone tell me.
I like hearing his opinion.
A lot of people like listening to other people's opinions and stuff.
So do I. Like that's me.
That's why reviews are Siskel and Ebert. That's why they had a job for so long.
Yeah.
And we're also hitting the time where for the next 2 weeks, it's going to probably be smart to talk about what's going on now because we're coming up on WrestleMania weekend.
Yeah.
So going on.
So if you're someone who left and came back or whatever it may be, or maybe you're just watching video only, maybe audio isn't your source and you only like the video. I don't know. Just some feedback. Let us know. Let us know in the comments, the chats, later on if you're watching. Let us know what you think, or maybe some topics you want us to cover, or maybe some segments in the show we can throw in that maybe you'd be interested in. We want to, obviously you guys are listening. We're going to make the content you want.
Even if you don't want to post it publicly, give us a DM. Honestly, don't we have direct messaging or not?
Yes, you can message the podcast.
Sure. Yeah. So DM us if you don't want everybody to see your reply.
Yeah. And speaking of people who we care about, and thanks so much to, is our Patreon subscribers. So we do have $1 to $25. We do have Ryan just sent me his shirt he wants, so I will be ordering that Friday and sending it out to you, Ryan. You were a winner last month for our free t-shirt giveaway. We'll be picking our other t-shirt giveaway, the winner, very, very soon for this month. So we want to thank Ryan Vox from Outbreak Wrestling, David S., Brett Squared from the Cake Stand in Monty City, Bridget M., Andrew H. from Bang & Beers Podcast, Greg R., Heidi B. from Not Cool in High School Podcast, Ryan G. from the Fueled by Haas Podcast, Kelly, Crystal Mountain Healing and Truth Behind Illusion, Tommy B., Tree of Life Metaphysical Shop, Brad Z., Higher Than Other Words Podcast, and also Poolbox Pals. They do shows on the IWEP network, and J Horror. So thank you all who support and help us out on that front. If you can't subscribe to a Patreon or do anything like that, listen, a share, a like, all that goes a very long way. You can also grab some merchandise. We do have that all in the links below. And following us on social medias will help us out tremendously. If you check our link tree, we do have like a review tab. You can leave a review on Apple or on our website, and we will read reviews on every episode if we get them. We haven't been getting many of them.
Subscribe to YouTube too.
Yeah.
We do that.
Yeah, so what do we got here? I'm here because Andy Header has amazing hair. There you go.
Oh, okay.
All right. A little hurt by that, but all right.
That's why we wear hats.
Not like I have long hair too. All right, but I'll let it go.
I don't know. I'd have to challenge for that. I would throw the challenge in for Tony.
You have not. Oh, I thought you said for you.
Oh, yeah, me too. That's exactly right.
Well.
But
Kelly's like, I also have hair.
Yes, I also have beautiful
hair on top of my head.
Ryan Vox says, woohoo. Chris Yam says, current day, hopefully future. Do you think The Rock comes back to face Roman Reigns? That's
not this year.
Yeah,
No.
definitely not this year, but I think it's maybe down the lineup.
Maybe
If you would have told me 6 months ago, is Rock going to be at this Mania, I would have bet my house on it, and I would have been wrong.
Yeah, I would have said
I would have taken that bet, and I would have
Yeah.
had 2 houses.
Yeah.
Yeah. Knocking back El Segundo Broken Skull American Lager. Oh, hell yeah. I am trying to find that. The new Stone Cold, not the IPA. He made a lager, trying to find that for Bangin' Beers. Also sharing all day for you. Thank you, brother.
Thank
I appreciate the share. And he's also watching Impact Ryan Box. Yeah, I just got a new glass. I'll show this off real quick. This is pretty cool. Without spilling it.
Oh, yeah, watch out.
Yeah.
It's the Immortal. It's Hogan and Andre. And on the back, it has Mania 3 with the Pontiac Silverdome, the date, that whole 9.
The Superdome.
The Superdome. And then we got a double-sided glass. It's Austin. And it says here, like comic book, it says Austin will not surrender. He will not submit. And on the other side, it says, I'm sorry, I love you. And it's Sean just cracking Flair in the chin.
The classic Blood from a Stone t-shirt. Remember that?
Yep.
Mhm.
These are from Skeeter's Glassware. So you can follow them on all social media. They do a fantastic job. These glasses were $20 each. Not a bad deal. I ordered them, I think like a day ago, and they came to my house
wow.
today. Like
Is it a local company?
he might be local, yeah.
For that kind of turnaround, you would
The
think.
Yeah.
stickers do have like the decals do have a nice coating on, so you can wash them.
He just sent me this,
I
that
think
this
it's
is
from
coming
Dishwasher.
soon.
Oh, Bart Foundation. That's pretty cool.
It's a
Simpsons.
Bart Foundation, and it has
Oh, that's nice.
and it's a spoof between Bret Hart. I'm
And the
actually,
Simpsons. That's
I won't
awesome.
show it on the screen.
Yeah,
without-
Simpsonized.
Hart Foundation.
Yeah.
Oh, and there's going to be
Which-
an NWO.
Oh, that's cool.
Which is interesting because Bret Hart was on The Simpsons.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
He bought Mr. Burns' house at one
I
point.
think he's on 2 episodes.
Or was looking to buy Burns' house.
They have a Facebook group. If you go to Skeeter's Glassware on Facebook, it's a private group, and they're sending
Private what?
group, and they're sending
Little
a bunch
TBI is rolling over into Tornado Tag.
of and they're sending like a bunch of private like stuff in there first before they put it out to the
That's
general
cool.
public. So join that group. They're really close to 100
Is that how you
members.
buy the glasses, or did
Yeah.
you have a?
Well, no, they have a website, but you can go on this Facebook group and you can see stuff early, and they kind of have some fun giveaways they've been doing. They're trying to grow it, so it's a brand new group. They're trying to hit 100 subscribers.
Is it Skeeter from the classic Nickelodeon cartoon Doug?
Yes, that's exactly who it is. And listen, they're very heavily wrestler inspired. So when I bought the glass, they sent me some stickers, which is like the sharpshooter. This is their logo, Skeeter. It's too sweet. Skeeter's Glassware. But yeah, and then here's a sticker of what's on the glass right here. The Giants. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. So go subscribe to them and tell them we sent you. Tornado Tag or Bangin' Beers, whatever works. And we will appreciate that and help their group out.
Oh, yeah, well,
All right. Current day. What do we talk about?
So the big news, maybe the biggest news in a long time, is Veer Mahan is coming to Raw on April 4th.
it's like when he comes to Raw, if he makes it, it'll be 180 some days since when he got drafted to Raw.
Longer than Emelina, longer than Brodus Clay.
180 some
Yeah.
days.
But we're finally at the precipice of Veer Mahan.
That's
What if
really-
he
coming to Raw?
What if he does a Lacey Evans and he walks down and he
And he walks
stares the
back?
ring and just walks back?
Back.
Well, that's kind of what they did with Emelina, where she debuts as Emelina and then she goes right back to being Emma, and then she was gone not that long after.
Yeah,
Love it.
but you did beat Asuka when she got called to the main roster. Remember?
Yeah.
that was awful. 180 days, but his vignettes are just he's coming.
Yeah.
It's not like him doing cool stuff.
Yeah,
or,
there's
like,
It's just his face.
yeah,
and
or
like
training,
blacked out. Yeah.
or doing
We don't know what's
something.
happening underneath.
Huh?
You don't know what's happening.
No.
That's true. I mean,
He may be coming.
Down.
you might be working out too.
Yeah. You know, it could be anything.
He has that pissy face on him. You know?
Yeah. Maybe that's his vinegar face.
Maybe.
But 180 days. Can he do anything to really? And be
For that
effective?
hype?
I mean,
I mean, the crowd might be hyped because it's become a meme now, and
Yeah.
also it's
Yeah.
going to be that after WrestleMania Raw crowd, which is
Can
usually
we-
historically a hot
Can
crowd.
we treat Veer Mahan as if he's Hook? Can all of us as fans?
They tried. They did a tweet one time. Send Veer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
It-
we
it's
need
not Hook.
we need to like the entire wrestling internet community needs to troll WWE because they always say they listen to us.
yeah, they don't.
Just fucking treat Veer Mahan like he is the next coming. Like treat him like
But then they'll make him go away. Because
Yeah.
anytime you get
Yeah.
the crowd gets behind someone they don't want it, then
Yeah, that's called Zack Ryder syndrome.
yeah,
yeah.
and Armando Alejandro.
Yeah,
Estrada.
we all need to buy merchandise. We need to treat him like he is the next big thing and see how they handle it.
And the-
Because you know what's gonna he's gonna do all these vignettes and then go out and get squashed by somebody.
But it's going to suck too because there's probably going to be other debuts. Like you might see a Braun Breaker.
Yeah.
Well, not these debuting. He was already on Raw. You might
A lot of
see
injury or people coming off of injuries and returns.
Asuka. Yeah, you might see Asuka back.
Bailey?
You might see Gable Steveson now that he has done wrestling in college. He might be coming in. very, very soon. And I don't think he's gonna be in NXT. He's gonna go right to the main roster. They debuted Brock right after WrestleMania 18, 20 years ago. Brock debuted.
We're also thinking too, who else are we missing that we know is going?
Yeah, well, I think
Is he going to be
Cody is going to be at WrestleMania, not after WrestleMania.
Okay.
If he's not at WrestleMania, then he's at Raw. If he's not Raw, he ain't going.
He signed a deal. It is
Yeah.
official.
I guess Jericho kind of spilled the beans on his
did he?
podcast that Cody's with WWE. Yeah,
Oh, that's what
it was
thinks,
pretty
but,
well known.
You know,
yeah.
Jericho's like, fuck it.
Yep. He's like, I'm going to spoil this
Oh.
shit.
They
People
said,
are
they said it's been signed for weeks, right?
yeah, about 2-3 weeks now.
Mhm.
People are kind of hot at Jericho now because he's kind of stealing Effie's look. He's got like the pink jacket with the spikes.
Purple.
Oh,
The
yeah, yeah.
purple. I
Purple
thought the
jacket
purple
was
jacket
nice,
was
too.
awesome.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
They're
And purple gloves.
everyone should be
playing-
mad at Prince.
They're playing around with Jericho. That
Yeah.
he's
Mhm.
and that's something we're going to be talking about. Like next week, we're just to tease what we're going to be doing. We're going to be talking about not just WrestleMania, because next week is our last show before WrestleMania, but WrestleMania weekend. Right before next week's episode is Bloodsport. It's that afternoon.
I can't wait.
It's going to be
the show starts on Thursday.
Thursday afternoon around, I think it's 3:00. Bloodsport. You have Chris Dickinson against Minoru Suzuki, or no, Josh Barnett. I forget who Minoru Suzuki's fighting. John Hennigan and
Hell yeah.
Simon Gotch.
What if it was John Bloodsport?
Johnny Bloodsport.
Bloodsport.
John Sport.
Johnny Claude Van Damme.
I do have some local news to quick
Go
sneak
ahead.
in here. The Legends of Hamburg
Yes.
Con just announced their first person. Did you see it?
Yes, I'm sorry.
You maggots.
And he shared someone's post.
Yeah,
that-
he said it's so exciting to go back to where it all started, the
Yeah.
Legend the Hamburg Fieldhouse.
That's cool.
So like, I just got chills.
Hmm.
Sergeant Slaughter's excited to be in Hamburg.
Yeah.
Like that's what that venue's for, man. I'm so happy that they're doing that, and like Outbreak and Antonio are working their balls off,
Mhm.
because that's special, man. Like I'll never forget as long as I fucking live. Like some of those people just walking in that building and being like Jimmy Hart and being like, these are the original chairs.
yeah.
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 I said when I
Those
walked
chairs
in.
are old.
I go,
Yeah.
these are the chairs from years ago.
Yes.
And like going around like the
They are
night-
not comfortable.
Yeah.
No,
They
they're
are not.
They're horrible chairs.
Oh
They
no,
are
no. What did I say the next time we went to Hamburg?
Bring your own chair.
I said bring
Bring your
chairs.
own chairs.
Yeah.
Because we went the night before to do a podcast there, and Vox was around, and we had Lance Marshall's on, and Dylan Quinn.
I'm so happy we got to do a podcast inside that building.
about the Hamburg Fieldhouse in the Hamburg Fieldhouse. It was
How are
so
the
cool.
acoustics in that for you?
It was fun.
It was fun.
We just use our mics.
Yeah, we'll have podcast ones.
Yeah.
And but we had to sit on the Hamburg chairs at night. So as we're riding back, I go to Tony, I'm like, bring your chairs next time. Bring your
Yeah.
chairs tomorrow. And we did, and it all worked out.
Mhm.
But yeah, there's a lot of good things. PPW has their big super show coming up
Yeah.
in March or in April.
Jay Lethal.
Jay
yes,
Lethal,
Dante Martin,
Dante
and-
Martin,
Lance Archer.
Lance Archer.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think there's somebody
Um,
else too.
I believe there was a one of the women's wrestlers.
Oh
was
yeah, I didn't know who it was.
I-
So I
have
the pic- hold on.
yeah, the name is escaping me right now.
I'm very excited, but I'm also very hesitant because AEW likes to pull people like the week of a show.
Yeah.
Oh, what's the MLW guy?
Oh,
Holiday?
Fatu.
Oh, Fatu.
Jacob Fatu.
Jacob
yeah.
Fatu. He's
Jacob
gonna be
Fatu.
there, and I don't know the girl. She's the middle of the back here. I don't know who she is.
I'm not sure who that is
Yeah, I
either.
don't-
No.
I will find it here.
But she's gonna be there. VSK. Is gonna be
Is
there?
VSK?
Oh,
Oh yeah,
VSK.
he's on the poster. Yeah,
VSK is a good dude.
VSK was. I spent a lot of time with VSK. He was a
Jordan
very
Oliver, yeah.
a very cool guy to be around.
Jordan Oliver from GCW. He's coming back.
Oh, he had
Yeah.
a great match last time. He killed it. Him and Casey, right?
I did not. No, Casey wasn't there.
Who did fucking Oliver wrestle? It was really good.
Was it Action Andretti? Maybe.
It might have been. I remember. I just
Amber
remember.
Nova is the.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh,
So a lot of cool stuff
that's
coming
April
up.
16th.
Also, where the fuck is it? Next
April
month.
30th is going to be Outbreak,
Yes.
Honor, Autism Awareness.
Really?
That was the real
Philly.
big news. Outbreak
In
is
Philly,
released.
it is?
What am I saying?
Yeah.
That was the real big news because advertised to appear. I think the first name announced for that show,
Me.
Andy Header.
Yeah, that's
Andy.
right. I'm wrestling.
It's-
Oh yeah, never mind. Yes, I have the first. I was thinking of something else.
Kevin Mears they did announce, but I think he announced that after.
Yeah.
So that's the reigning Intimidator champion, their
About
big
that.
guy title.
Yeah.
We might have some cool announcements coming up for that commentary team too. Maybe.
Oh.
Yeah. Who knows? Can you keep an eye out? Also,
I'm not going to say who it is, but his name rhymes with Schmexcalibur.
Yeah.
yeah. High Tension Wrestling is going to be the
Yes.
Electric City Showdown, streaming live on IWTV, or you can come live Saturday, May 14th at the Marketplace at Steamtown in Scranton, Pennsylvania.
Small
The
Steamtown.
fan event will be from 12 to 4, and the doors will open from 6 to 7.
I'm
And-
proud of you. You did that read really well this time.
Yeah.
Thank you. I had a stroke the last time.
And they
said it.
are going to announce talent next week.
Yes.
Yes.
We
Very exciting.
will be doing commentary of that show. And are you willing to cut a promo with me to promote the show?
Yeah.
All right.
Why
And
would I?
tickets go on sale.
It's going to be
Saturday.
office themed.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
That's fine.
Awesome.
What? The Electric City.
Oh, no, not at all.
Oh God.
I thought I was going to put your microphone in Jello or something.
Maybe
Listen,
we'll
Mike.
figure something out. Well, we're gonna do an office themed promo for that. What do we got? Oh, we have some on YouTube. I love people on YouTube. That makes me excited. Makes me excited. Greetings, wrestling fans watching Impact Wrestling right now. Love it.
Thank you, Ronnie.
I'm so behind on
I
fucking
think
Impact.
that might be our problem. We're up against a buzzsaw that is Impact Wrestling.
I know that's what's hurting us. But listen, even if you don't watch live, you can always check the
Yeah, you can always watch the
Audio?
replay.
replay. But we appreciate you guys hanging out and doing both. That means a
Yeah.
lot to us. All right.
And I know locally, obviously, Tony Deppin's going to have some big matches coming up at the Collective. He's wrestling Psychosis
That's
in
sick.
the world on
Yeah,
Lucha. He's
cool.
wrestling Biff Busick at Joey Janela's Spring Break.
The former only Lorcan. For those
Yeah.
who may not know.
Spring Break Night 2 will have one of my favorite things ever, the Clusterfuck Battle Royal. Minoru Suzuki versus Effie is
Oh,
on night
wow.
2.
Wow.
Mike Bailey, Speedball Mike Bailey against our buddy PCO
Mm,
on
Our
night 2.
dear friend who he retweeted us again for this episode.
wow.
Yeah.
He's on the show.
Night
Yeah.
2 of Joey Janela's Spring Break. That'll be Friday night. I believe. Yeah, Friday night, April 1st. So you have the clusterfuck. You have with Maven, with Jimmy Wang Yang.
Wow.
With,
As he bring his party bus.
he's bringing his daughter actually. Chris Dickinson and it's going to be Matt Cardona with Chelsea Green against Chris Dickinson, and to neutralize Chelsea Green, the first lady of professional wrestling, Missy Hyatt.
Whoa, Missy.
Wow.
Where did they take her out?
She's gonna, and then Bloodsport, which we said is going to be next Thursday. You have John Moxley against Biff Busick on Bloodsport. Minoru Suzuki, Chris Dickinson in a rematch. Josh Barnett against Jonah, our dear friend Jonah.
Dear friend. I should just eventually just pull the trigger, grow balls, and just DM PCO and be like, you want to be on the podcast?
He doesn't seem like he has a mean bone in his body unless that bell rings.
What's he have to lose? Seriously.
Yeah.
What's he have
We'll
to
eventually
lose?
do it. We'll stand in. I still have a bunch of guests I have to get to. If you signed up, I still will get to you. It's just the last couple episodes of guests just did really bad,
Well,
listener
It's
wise.
like, I love Howard Stern.
I
but
think
when-
you'll be okay if you have PCO on
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
like
No offense to the Wrestling Over Everything
Yeah.
crew and everybody, but it's PCO.
a lot of
And
times,
listen, wrestling over every day. You guys killed it, man. You
Yeah, they're great.
shared it. You shared it.
Yes,
Like that
thank you
means
so
so
much.
much to us. And,
You shared every
and-
clip I made, so thank
and
you.
we loved having you on the show.
That was
and
a
learning
fun
about you.
time, yeah.
It just sucks that it didn't translate to
Well-
audio listeners.
well, it's like me with Howard Stern. So I love Howard Stern show, but once he interviews someone I don't care about, turn it right off.
Yeah.
See, I lean into it heavily
and
because I want to
and
learn about that person.
I don't give a shit. About
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
same
want to
with
hear about the
Andy.
Whack Pack. But like some people are like that, some people aren't. Some people listen to the ones they like, some listen to all of them.
I became fans of people who I didn't think I was ever gonna like because
Yeah,
of
that
Howard
could,
Stern.
that could happen.
Like
but
I listen to Miley Cyrus, I'm like, she's fucking awesome.
I can't stand her,
Mm-mm.
the sound of her voice.
Yeah, but he humanized her, which is what a good interviewer does, and I liked it.
Oh, and then another big one for this is going to be on Saturday before the day of WrestleMania Night 1, but that morning, Effie's Big Gay Brunch. I think it's at 11 o'clock. Effie against Pimpinella Escarlata, who was one of the legendary Exoticos in
Oh, that's cool. Like, yeah,
the I don't think necessarily you would call them trans, but they would wrestle as men presenting as women.
Yeah.
yeah.
And Pimpinella is one of the big ones. And who was the other one?
Cassandra.
Cassandra. Yeah. Ali Ketch and Dango are going to be wrestling on that show. I believe they are running back Edith Surreal and Maxie Impaler.
Love that.
Keita Murray, local, another local person against Bill Dixon. So there's a lot going on, and that's just the collective. I know WrestleCon has that big show with like Minoru Suzuki and Biff Busick and a few other big
You
shows.
guys are getting like fucking 4 days pay there. Fucking 4
Well,
events.
yeah, they try,
It's a
try and get as many shows as you can.
Yeah.
You're there for the whole
crazy.
weekend, you know.
Real quick, Dana in the chat said that'd be cool to have PCO on. First off, I want to give
Oh,
a
yeah,
huge thank you to her. She just on her own, we put our post out saying like, hey, we're doing WrestleMania 10, and she shared it and then wrote something like, hey, if you like wrestling, you should really check out this podcast. They do a lot of really good, like, showed us like love, like in a little, she gave us like a little review when she shared it, instead of just like sharing it's cool, but she like kind of like told her friends just like, this is why I like it, and that's super sweet of you. Thank you so much for that. That means the world to us. That's really cool.
Very, very cool. So yeah, we'll get more into all that stuff for WrestleMania weekend next weekend.
Yeah,
because this week we are talking about still kind of remembering the life and times of Scott Hall, and I think almost universally, if you ask what his best match was, some people might say that the rematch of this, but it is the ladder match, WrestleMania 10. An interesting show.
Yeah,
a 2-match show.
That's why I said to Brian.
Yeah, it's
definitely a 2-match show.
Yeah.
What match did you enjoy more?
What was your third favorite match on that show?
Wasn't the first match or wasn't the ladder match?
I will say this: there are some matches that I think people will have like as a throwaway.
Answer the question.
But character-wise, there was a lot of people on this pay-per-view that really excited me.
Doink and Bam Bam Bigelow with Luna.
Awesome.
What?
Your Honor, the witness will not answer the question. What was your third favorite match on that show?
Now, I will agree. Luna's outfit was on point. That was awesome.
Starts beating up Dink.
No, she doesn't.
She got pissed when he rolled, and she tried grabbing his hair. Like, they shot on Dink a little bit.
Permission to treat the witness as hostile.
Yeah.
I feel like Judge Steve Harvey now. Where's JJ Dillon and Kevin Sullivan?
I enjoyed the tag match.
Was that your second favorite match? Men on a Mission.
No, the
third favorite match.
The best match.
What was your third favorite match, Tony?
Third favorite match.
What was your third favorite match?
Brett Yoko.
What?
Oh God.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
All right, sure.
Brett wins a title.
Here's the
story
thing.
of it.
It was a feel-good ending. Yeah, there was
Were
a feel-good
any of those
ending.
matches WrestleMania worthy? No, they were Raw matches.
Wait, there was another one on that card too. I thought was really good too.
No, there
was
wasn't.
it Lex Luger and Yokozuna with the 6-minute nerve hold?
I know
love
what it
myself
was.
a nerve
It was
hold.
Earthquake versus Adam Bomb that lasted 1 minute.
1 minute, yeah.
Classic match.
And the Macho Man match, which was his like last match, I think, in the company, wasn't it?
It was his last televised match.
That Macho Man match was rough.
Yeah, well,
that was a rough.
The rules messed it up. The rules were weird.
They were. I was like, what? They have to get 60 seconds and back into the ring?
Yeah. Who else was on that card that I was like, oh fuck, I can't believe they were still here at this time. A name that like I'm a fan of. I seen Luna and Bam Bam. I was excited.
Surprised Earthquake was still there.
Me too. Earthquake surprised me.
Dude,
and winning.
I will say this: the fucking not Quebecers or whatever they're the
Quebecers, yeah.
They're a fun tag team.
PCO was insane even back then.
He was when he does the backdrop.
The backdrop bump was nuts. Yeah. He did a senton like 3/4. He was working his ass off.
Yeah.
But there's only so much you can do with Men on a Mission.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dude, even like his selling and his facial expressions.
Oh, PCO was great.
Yeah.
That's why, like,
what was the second match?
A year after this, he got a singles push.
What was this?
Bam Bam
and Luna against Doink and Dink. Oh, the first was amazing. Brett and Owen.
Oh yeah, that was fantastic.
That was fantastic.
2-match show, the opener and the ladder match.
There was another one in there I thought was entertaining. I thought Dink and Doink was funny though.
We'll run it down here. We'll start at the top. You do get a video package because this is the 10th WrestleMania. It's a milestone. So throughout the show, they do go back to like revisit all the other WrestleManias. And they're doing so while really trying to minimize what Hulk Hogan meant to. I mean, they brought him up because you can't talk about the first 9 WrestleManias without Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
But this is an interesting thing because this is a weird time for WWF. It's not a great time for WWF. Hulk Hogan, this is the first WrestleMania without Hulk Hogan. And Vince is about to go on trial. Vince is facing heavy jail time right now.
This is my favorite time wrestling because it wasn't all muscle-bound monsters. This is where character development came big.
It was there was character development back then.
There was, yeah. But,
the roster is very thin. Undertaker's hurt.
Yeah, Undertaker was on sabbatical.
I thought a lot of people stepped up though.
Brett,
Sean,
Razor, yeah,
Razor.
Sean Razor,
yeah.
1, 2, 3 Kid.
He was some good matches. He was really on this show.
Oh, you mean
got cut?
Oh, you mean in this time?
Yeah.
Oh, I meant the show.
No,
yeah.
in this time. In this
time.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say their 10-man tag.
Even
was
Jeff
cut.
Jarrett was entertaining during his time. Yeah.
That's JE. Double it. Savage versus Crush may actually be my third favorite match on the show, and it's not great, but it's not awful.
Yeah.
And I will always have a soft spot in my heart for Randy Savage, even though it's not.
He looked a step off.
I think the rules of the match doomed it.
Yeah.
And we'll get to that. We'll
Did they ever do another false count like that ever again?
No.
The Texas Death Match is close.
Yeah.
That's usually the original Texas Death Match rules is you pin them and then they have to count 10 to get back their feet.
Yeah, like they do a last man standing match, but you just have to pin.
Yeah, it was
somebody for
a last man standing, false count anywhere. It was fucking
But
strange.
you only had to pin them outside the ring. And they didn't. I don't
it
think
was
they
so
knew.
And it
weird.
was
Yeah.
weird because Falls Count Anywhere as a stipulation was really over at this point because of the Cactus Jack matches in WCW. But they were literally just matches where you false counted anywhere.
Yeah.
And they would do these crazy
You
brawls.
have
And
60 seconds.
so bad.
They gimmick that second 60 seconds.
yeah.
He's like,
Oh, yeah.
30, 10, 9.
15, yeah.
Yeah. So we get a video package for WrestleMania 1 and the beginning. Hulk Hogan, Mr. T, Andre, and Big John Studd. This is one of the first years, I think the year before this, WrestleMania 9 was one of the worst WrestleManias ever.
Yeah.
And that was the one. It was outdoors. It was at Caesar's Palace. It was the world's largest toga party. And but the years before,
Look wise, coolest WrestleMania.
It did look cool.
It
I
looked
don't know
great.
about
It was
Coolest, but it looked
awful.
cool.
It was awful.
Jim Ross's
Like-
first WrestleMania.
Yeah, like we said that this is a 2-match show. WrestleMania 9 was a 0-match show.
It was.
There was not a good
No
match.
match
I think the
show.
best match on that show. Well, Shawn Michaels and Tatanka probably wasn't bad, but it was like a DQ finish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bobby Heenan riding an elephant backwards.
Yeah.
No, whatever he came out on camel.
Yeah, and one of the rare times you did get Heenan and JR together.
Yeah. That was probably one of the only good things. And Lex Luger made his debut.
Ryan Vox, what was your
Narcissist.
third favorite match on this show?
I was gonna say no.
There wasn't one.
You guys are out of your
There
mind.
are 3 matches on that show. I just watched 2 of them. But what I'm bringing up 9 for is 9. They had like some kind of Roman like music for it.
Yeah.
6, 7, and 8 had that great like Jimmy Hart one that.
It's
called, like, the Grand Spectacle.
And then I used it for one SummerSlam then or something.
Something like that, yeah. But this was the beginning of the WrestleMania theme that would wind up becoming Linda McMahon's theme,
Oh yeah.
which was from the WrestleMania the album, which was produced. And that album was produced by Simon Cowell.
Oh,
my.
How about that?
He was one of the producers behind that album.
The guy who single-handedly destroyed music for a long time.
He single-handedly destroyed WrestleMania themes before that.
Yeah.
Simon Cowell. Howard Henson.
And the first match of the show is Vince McMahon against his collar. His collar was jacked up.
I liked it. It was still the old school where they start on the announcers.
Yeah.
And they run down the card and stuff
Mhm.
first.
I love
like
that, by the way.
Yeah.
By the way,
Bring
Vince,
that back.
fucking awful on
Oh,
commentary.
Oh, yes.
He was good when he
God awful.
started when he was young, but yeah, at this point he become a caricature.
I
Yep.
liked when he would do the build up at the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
When he
Yeah.
was like over the top. And then the last match. We have that.
And he
Yeah,
has,
yeah.
he-
That was
it's just
cool.
funny
Setting up a
because
match, great.
Yeah.
he goes from that scratchy, like really manly voice in the build-up, and then on the announce,
He got him.
yeah, he's totally different. It's like, oh,
1, 2, now. Get out.
So
Little
I
Richie?
could tell by your commentary, you are not a good guy. Good call, Vince. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
yeah, I saw John's comment there. Steiner's and Set Trickers may have been the best match at WrestleMania 9. That was quite good.
Oh, okay.
And but yeah, for it was funny because this is 1994, and then you have they would always have people singing "America the Beautiful."
Mhm.
I thought that WWE signed Mark Merrow in 1996. I don't know why he was singing "America the Beautiful." here.
Mark Mayer did a great job.
Yeah,
I fast forward right there.
of course it was Little Richard.
Yeah.
I
But
like when he was
Nothing against Little Rich.
he started off like whispering and then he started doing this for no reason. America.
He gotta get his gimmick in.
he's a legend.
Gotta get his shit in.
And then he didn't get all. He didn't go. Shut up.
Yeah.
That was his big thing with it. Just he would be on like Family Matters or Full House or whatever show. Just tell somebody to shut up. Shut up.
God has shed his grace on thee. Shut up.
I would've-
Maybe Vince thought it was Johnny B. Bad, and then they told him, that's Little Richard. Oh, so he
Shit,
can't
we
wrestle.
fucked up.
So he can't wrestle, and God damn it.
Well, one of the lines in Johnny B. Bad's theme song in WCW at this time was, "He's as pretty as a picture.
Yeah,
He looks just like Little Richard."
There it is.
he had good entrance.
He did. And so Jerry Lawler is back. Jerry Lawler had been exiled. He had been fired from WWF. He had right before Survivor Series, they let him go for bad reasons. He may have been arrested in Memphis for sodomy and statutory rape.
Oh,
with a
15-year-old girl.
the young girl.
how old?
15.
Like,
Wow.
15.
Yeah.
That makes the whole creepy pervert angle for this whole my entire childhood a little weird now.
Yeah.
Eventually, there was like a plea bargain, and I think he pleaded guilty to like harassment or something like that. But yeah, there was a Because if you remember the Survivor Series before this, it was supposed to be the Hart family, Brett, Owen, Bruce, and I think Keith against Jerry Lawler and his Knights.
Yeah, and then it was Shawn Michaels.
Then it became Shawn Michaels and his Knights, which
he went hard in the paint on Brett's parents in that commentary.
Oh my
Oh,
god,
that was his
he
gimmick.
just kept
Yeah.
beating on Helen.
One of the funniest commentary things is that match with Shawn Michaels and his Knights against Brett and the Hart family. It is the last pay-per-view that Bobby Heenan did commentary on, and he is going at Stu and Helen, but it's hilarious. I guess Stu Hart has this old Boston Bruins jacket on because they're in Boston, and on the back it has like the old bear, Boston Bruins bear logo. And he goes, "Oh, look, Stu has Helen on his jacket." And eventually Monsoon is like,
"Would you stop it?"
No, because he's like, "If you keep this up, Stu's going to come over here." He's like, "By the time he gets here, the show will be over."
I love it.
He coughed and dust came out.
All right, let's run through the card.
Okay, so we have a video package. You have just leading up to this whole feud where during that Survivor Series match, the only Hart family member that gets eliminated is Owen, and it's because something happened outside with Brett, and Owen gets distracted, and
He gets whipped off the ropes, and it hits Owen into the guardrail.
yeah, and they get counted out or something.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So they're all celebrating, but Owen's a little upset because he got eliminated. Brett is wearing an awesome pink singlet in that
Yeah,
Survivor
it's
Series
the
too,
only
just
time he
a
ever wore it.
regular singlet, not like the long singlet. And so it looks like there's a family feud, but it's a Christmas miracle, Christmas week.
Under no conditions will I ever.
Yeah,
I will never wrestle my brother.
I'm not going to wrestle my brother Owen.
He said something during his promo that was so Canadian. The way he said it too. Oh my god!
I am against the idea of wrestling my brother
That's what it was.
Owen.
I am against the idea of wrestling my brother Owen ever.
I will leave this organization before I wrestle my brother Owen. How do they have? They're Canadian. How do they have 17 kids and not one of them is named Gord?
He wrestles his brother.
Yeah. I'm not going to wrestle. my
Lawler
brother.
versus Stu and Helen was the greatest thing ever. What do you think he said to her? Helen, I'm damp.
that was Heenan.
Yeah.
Heenan said, "I'm damp." That was Heenan at Survivor Series. Amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, they do a promo together on Christmas week, and it's like, yeah, we patch things up and everything's good to go, and the Hearts are going to wrestle the Quebecers at the Royal Rumble. But Brett gets his knee worked over, and he can't make the tag out to Owen, and they lose. They lose the Quebecers in the tag title match, and then Owen attacks Brett's knee after the match, and infamously says it. And they didn't put this in the video package. He goes, "And that's why I kicked your leg right out from under your leg."
Yeah.
One of the classic.
Why are the Quebecers not in the Hall of Fame?
Because Vince
Hey.
probably doesn't like Jacques.
Yeah. Because
Mm.
Jacques was a part of the concussion loss.
Yeah.
Mm.
If there's somebody that deserves to be in the Hall of Fame and they're not in, it's because Vince doesn't want them there.
Yep.
I don't know why Rick Martel's not in the Hall of Fame.
PCO should be in the Hall of Fame.
Demolition.
How do you see PCO work on the scene and be like,
If
why don't I bring him back?
Charmel can be in the Hall of Fame,
Yes.
literally anybody.
Yeah.
If
Could be in the Hall of
Hillbilly
Coco-
Jim
Yeah.
is in the Hall of
Coco
Fame,
Beware.
anybody could be in the fucking Hall of Fame.
That's the Coco Beware Award. The person who gets inducted that has no reason to be inducted.
So you have all this lead up, and then finally Brett's like, "I'm gonna wrestle you, Owen. I'm gonna wrestle you, you hyena." And he would always call people hyenas when he was a heel.
Yeah.
You stinking hyena. And so, oh, that's a cool sticker.
That's an awesome sticker.
Yeah.
So we finally have the match. And what happened here is that Royal Rumble, his knee is shot, but he still somehow comes into the Royal Rumble. And we have co-winners. 2 people won the Royal Rumble this year. Bret Hart and Lex Luger both won the Rumble, even though Bret hit first.
Yeah.
So they're both going to get a title shot at
Screwed-
WrestleMania.
Brett screwed Lex Luger.
Oh, that's kind of screwed.
Lex screwed Lex. So they're both going to get their shot at the Royal Rumble, because the conventional wisdom going into the show is, oh, Luger's going to win the title. Of course, they've been building up to it for a year almost. That was the thought. Like, everybody thought, oh, Luger's winning.
Vince really wanted him to, but
He wanted him to be Hogan.
Yeah.
Isn't that when Lex he fought Yokozuna on the bottle ship?
Well,
No.
It was a
he
body
can't- it
slam challenge.
The body slam
but
challenge,
He comes
yeah.
out last, and then he turns face because he buys
Yeah,
for
'cause-
America.
Yeah, because Luger was the narcissist. He was a heel. He was like a very vain, self-obsessed.
He
guy.
wore like purple, right?
Yeah, purple and silver.
like white with
He-
like purple trim.
It
Yeah,
looked like fucking Val Venus's trunks.
Kinda.
yeah, and he would have
fringe.
he would have like mirrors. And he would just pose in front of the mirror, and he had the metal he had a metal plate in his forearm and just knocked people out with his forearm. That was his whole gimmick. But yeah, they did a whole thing on the 4th of July, 1993, on the USS Intrepid, in New York. And they just had like football players, wrestlers, anybody like come slam Yokozuna.
Yeah.
And Yokozuna got messed with that day by Fuji really bad.
Yeah, because it's so hot.
It was super hot, and the ring they said was like hot blacktop.
Ugh.
And Fuji stole Yokozuna's slipper, so he's like doing hot foot all over the ring. And that's why when Luger does, because Leah, it's like, well, it's over. Nobody slammed Yokozuna, and like America's over, I guess.
Fuji
He
was
had
a
a good run.
sadistic
Yeah, it
fuck.
was.
He did far more sadistic ribs than that. The Al Snow pepper angle was apparently something Mr. Fuji did to somebody, killed their dog and served them to him.
Ooh.
But so then when it seems like all hope is lost for America, here comes a helicopter, and out steps Lex Luger in a red, white, and blue polo shirt, and he comes in and he slams Yoko, and Yoko
Yeah.
pops off that mat because it's so
It
hot.
rolls right out.
So anyway, because Yokozuna has to defend his title twice, and it wouldn't be fair for the other people to only wrestle once. He's going to wrestle one of them in the middle of the show and one of them in the main event. But the one he's wrestling at the end of the show has to wrestle first, which is now
So it'll be
Bret
even
Hart.
where they both wrestle the match.
yeah. So they both have to wrestle 2 matches. Everybody's going to wrestle 2 matches that night because it would be unfair if one person only had to wrestle the one.
Except
Yeah.
Lex.
Yeah, well, Lex theoretically would have wrestled 2 if he would have. Spoiler: he doesn't win the title
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
So they did a coin toss because it's like whoever wins the coin toss gets the second match, and Bret won the coin toss.
Vox, I've never been more patriotic when Lex slammed Yoko on the Intrepid.
It was America's finest
USA,
hour.
baby. Lex Express. That's what started.
And I love the Lex. Yeah. Do you know the story of the Lex Express?
Yeah, where they tried to do a whole tour bus and he refused to get on it.
No, he was on there at points.
Yeah, he went to fly to some cities.
Yeah, and then they would do like these little rallies for Lex Luger,
and that's what killed his world title win.
and what killed is they should have won at the SummerSlam.
Yeah.
That
But
was when he had the
didn't
momentum.
he win a title like at a dark thing and they used it?
Well, no, he stole the title. And and Vince was like, let's pretend he was really the champion. We'll introduce him as a champion. And this is apparently why Bret wound up winning it. It's like the pop wasn't what they wanted. It was still a house show business. It was still live events driven, and they would listen to the pops. And Bret was getting a bigger response than Luger, and that's why they went with Bret instead. Like there was always this urban legend that Luger was the night before was bragging to people in New York that he was going to win the title that night, and Vince was like, "Well, now you're not." But that's not true. That didn't happen.
Brett was red
but
hot at this
that's
point.
Very
Yes.
believable of something that could happen in wrestling.
And you could hear the pops in this WrestleMania alone, but the pops when Brett came out were huge.
Yeah,
Mhm.
And,
Brett
and
was just,
Perfect and Piper. They
Yeah.
were at the top.
Mhm.
Pops.
Oh, Popper. Yeah, Piper. Piper was big.
So it all starts with Bret against Owen, and they did this perfectly. Because they at the beginning it's like from Calgary, Alberta, Canada, the crowd goes nuts.
Yeah.
They pop, and then Owens moves the kids.
they kept calling the Rocket.
But that was his
Yeah, the
nickname.
Rocket.
That was always
Yeah.
his nickname.
I forgot he was called the Rocket at first, and I was like, oh man, I missed the Blackheart.
Oh yeah, he didn't
Yeah.
have it yet.
Well, he was
Yeah.
the Blackheart for a while because
Like-
shortly after this, the next pay-per-view is King of the Ring. And
Yeah,
Owen Hart
King of
wins
Hearts.
King of the Ring, and because Bret
King of
won it the year
Hearts, yes.
before, and so Owen wins. He's like, I am now the King of Hearts.
He does not fall from that fucking ceiling, and his brother's not there anymore. He possibly. Do you think is a world champion at any point?
I don't know if he would have won the title after '99.
I feel the style of wrestling
When would
that
you- I don't-
started ushering in was right up his
he
fucking
was getting ready to
alley.
retire though. He wanted to go home and be with his
Yeah,
family.
he wanted to
be a
be done.
firefighter.
What I would
I
say,
think possibly because Steve Austin and Rock weren't real red hot. Well, I guess they were.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know if they would have given them
I mean,
the
they
title.
flipped,
I
they
don't
flipped
know.
the title.
It would
so long.
have been
If they
interesting to
would've
see
gave
him
him
in Austin again
If they
after
would
the
have
neck break.
Oh yeah.
if he would have got a better gimmick than the Blue Blazer, maybe. But I don't see that gimmick getting over.
Well,
But
no, not
sorry.
as Blue Blazer. Like, he
No.
would have been.
No,
back
Blue
to
Blazer,
Owen.
yeah.
He would have had to go back to being the King of Hearts or Blackheart or whatever, something.
with all due respect to Mr. Backlund, our dear friend Bob Backlund, Owen should have won the title in 94 at Survivor Series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That should have been him winning, not Backlund. And he would have probably done the same thing where he loses to Diesel 3 days later.
Yeah.
But if Owen would have beaten Brett for the title, and that would have like really cemented him more than he already has been. That would have been the time. And because he's great here. Owen is so annoying and great. I forgot the thing he did where he would wear Brett's shades.
Yeah.
And
he ripped them up.
Yeah,
well,
he
he didn't do it here. He used to do it. He would go up to a kid like Brett would and just rip them up in front of the kid.
Yeah.
But he stands on the turnbuckles, like
And
ripping up
rips
the
them
shades.
and then just throws them.
His gear is has a heart with a lightning bolt going through it. It's so good.
Yeah, and then like he would do the chain wrestling and then go to all this technicality and the submissions and getting out of the submissions and then start doing the flippy shit. Like
Yeah.
no one really did that like that.
Brett
was so ahead of his time.
Brett's technique was better, but Owen was on another level athletically. Owen was so
Owen
good.
Did the
This match just
tombstone?
flowed.
Yeah. The tombstone.
Yeah, he would always do that too. I guess
Yeah.
he didn't care what the Undertaker thought.
Yeah.
Or the Undertaker liked him so much. You think, go ahead.
Maybe it was a rib that he did it too.
Maybe yeah.
Who
The
knows?
Undertaker wasn't here.
Yeah. He was so fucking good.
Yeah, and this match is just it's
Brett sold the leg
such
so
great
well.
wrestling, and it tells a story because at first like they're just doing the wrestling, but Brett has an answer for everything, and no one gets frustrated, and he shoves him and he slaps him, but Brett's keeping his calm. Brett is just gonna try to out wrestle his brother. He's like, we got to settle this, but I'm not gonna stoop to Owen's level. And finally, Owen gets to him enough that he shoves Brett, and Brett shoves him back and pops him, and it just tells such a great story. If you've never seen this match, fire up Peacock, WrestleMania 10, Bret Hart and Owen Hart.
I never got into the character of Brett 'cause I felt he took himself too serious. And when characters took themselves too serious, I just turned away from them. But even though he did behind the scenes take himself, in my opinion, a little too serious, but he still sold like a bastard. Like he was so good at selling. Like if he had to work at, like if his leg was worked, he worked that fucking leg. Like I don't know, he was. I make jokes, but at the end of the day, Brett's fucking fantastic.
Bret Hart is a top 10 in-ring talent all time.
I still think Owen's better, but Brett's fucking fantastic.
It could be like how Flair
Brett-
said AJ
yeah.
is better than Bryan Danielson.
Listen,
It's debatable.
It is
it
debatable.
depends on what style of wrestler you like.
Yeah, I mean, Owen also didn't really get a chance to deliver. Like Owen's two best matches, I think, in my opinion, are his two matches with Bret.
Mhm.
There's a lot of people whose best matches
this-
are their matches with
Yeah,
Bret.
this
Yeah.
is the cage match.
Same with Sean. A lot of people have really shitty matches and they get in the ring with Sean. When
Yeah.
someone's good, they're good. And with the AJ and Daniel thing, it depends on who they like. If you tell me that who's the matchup, and if you can either have AJ or Daniel Bryan to face that opponent, I would probably lean more towards AJ because I like that style of wrestler more. But Daniel Bryan is still one of the best wrestlers of our generation.
He died, it's Bryan Danielson.
Brian Danielson, sorry.
Brian Danielson, in my opinion, is the best wrestler.
I think he's the best wrestler in the world right now.
Yeah.
But they're both very good.
Yeah. And you can't go wrong with either one.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you tell me AJ's your favorite or he's your favorite, I'm not gonna argue.
I would
with either
give the
one.
edge to Bryan Danielson for promos, though. Not that AJ came a long way in TNA. He was
Yeah.
not good. He
Yeah.
was not good at all. But now I think Bryan.
I think AJ,
promo.
if you take AJ out of Impact and he's more of a little bit higher flyer, like where he would do a lot more of the crazy shit, like the suicide dives and stuff.
Springboard 450. That's insane. And
Yeah,
stuff.
and then he obviously doesn't do that shit anymore because he's older, but he
he
still,
still does that.
yeah, but not to the same extent.
Well,
Yeah. Well, and which I don't think he should, but yeah, it really comes down to your style. But sorry,
Yeah, and the psychology of this match is so tight. Owen's working the knee. It's just so good. It's just so good. And then your finish is Brett's going to go for the victory roll.
Mhm.
He's on Owen's shoulders. He's going to roll forward, but Owen clamps down, sits down, and
clean.
doesn't.
Clean.
He could grab the ropes right
Yeah.
there. He could grab the rope, but it is clear. 1, 2, 3, clean win. The crowd is kind of in shock.
I remember watching this and because I would always argue with my friends, like obviously I was a Sean guy,
Mhm.
and I'm like, oh, I hope Owen kills him. I hope Owen beats him. And then it actually happened. I was like, oh my God. And then I couldn't go in school and brag about it because then Brett was the world champion.
but Owens deserved a title shot. Then just be
Yeah,
That's what I used to.
you're building a challenger, and it's and then they're going to build him even more with King of the Ring, and the King of the Ring. Brett winds up wrestling Diesel,
Yeah.
which is odd because Diesel almost never wrestled,
yeah. He didn't wrestle in this show, which he probably should have.
and that match, it's weird because Kevin Nash is another guy. His best matches are with Brett.
Mhm.
That match at King of the Ring, the match at Royal Rumble '95, even though the finish is bad, and then the match where Brett gets the title back at Survivor Series '95, they might be. They're probably, if they're not Kevin Nash's 3 best matches, 1, 2, 3, they're in the top 5.
Agreed.
and they're right there with Michaels at WrestleMania. But Michaels got a little selfish in that match.
Yeah.
So anyway, from that great match, our second match is Bam Bam Bigelow and Luna Vachon against Doink and Dink.
I don't want to hear shit. This match was fucking awesome.
No.
I don't want to hear nothing.
This would be a perfectly good match.
This
at a
match,
house show.
This match would fit on Raw today.
Yeah.
'cause
Yes.
it's bad
Yeah.
comedy.
Yes.
On a
It's
house
bad
show,
comedy.
it would be great.
If you like the 24/7 skits, you'll love this
Yeah.
match.
Yes.
There was nothing wrong with it except at the end that it made no sense, and that was kind
Because
of
it was botched.
when they went and she's not supposed to land on.
They were
Dink, and
supposed to.
she did
They were
it.
supposed to both miss the big splash.
Yeah.
But Dink
Yeah.
rolled into Luna's
Yeah,
Luna,
splash.
instead of
yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least she rolled into Luna and not Bam Bam.
But she was pissed that it happened. You could tell she was pissed that it
Remember
happened.
the Luna behind the not behind what's it called? Dark Side of the Ring.
Yeah.
How she didn't really get a chance to wrestle women. Like why didn't Luna
Yeah.
wrestle Alundra Blaze?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That could have been a good match.
Wasted opportunity.
Yeah.
Luna was fucking
Instead
awesome.
we get this. Like it just be fine on
I
TV. This is not a
just
WrestleMania match.
I am just such a Bam and Luna fan that when I forgot it was on this card, I
Yeah.
was just happy to
Bam
see
Bam
them.
was great.
Yeah, Bam Bam was great. Like I would much rather watch Bam Bam wrestle.
Sadly, this is also kind of
someone else.
this is the end of Luna's run too.
Yeah.
Because one of the big things that happens shortly after this is right after this, you get DiBiase as your big heel manager, and he starts to build out his corporation by SummerSlam, it's kind of in full swing. The first guy gets his Nikolai Volkov because he's down on his luck, and he buys Nikolai Volkov, and Volkov would wear this shirt that said like "Property of the $1 Million Man" and had a cent sign on it. And then you had Bam Bam, and they brought back Bundy and
Yeah.
and everything like
bunch
that.
of older guys. And
Yeah.
they
They
you
turned
thought it was
Tatanka
Lex,
heel.
but it was Tatanka.
Yeah.
And that
And-
didn't go anywhere.
Yeah, because the whole thing was like, I bought America. I've sold Lex Luger's Property of the $1 Million Man, and Tatanka's like buying it.
Yeah.
And that's Tatanka was the one that turned.
Yeah.
What a letdown.
And
That's
then,
like if everyone thinks fucking Cody Rhodes is coming out, and it's like Cody, and then it's just like Veer Mahan. And we're like,
it's like
what?
I got the Undertaker,
Wow,
and it's Brian Lee.
wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, wow.
So we did say that the big thing was they were going to do the double splash, and then Dink is supposed to roll away from it, but he still gets splashed by Luna.
Dude, Bam almost rips his whole headpiece off.
That was Doink. Yeah, he was trying to rip Doink's. He almost ripped Doink's mask
And
off.
this Doink would have been.
This is Ray Apollo.
Yeah.
This is not Matt Bourne.
Good guy Doink sucks.
Mhm.
It's this.
He's a creepy clown. That's all.
No,
he
he's
should
not
have been.
creepy. Yeah.
He should have been just a
Yeah.
creepy clown.
Yeah. When he was
Yeah.
evil Doink. That's
when
what
he
it
was in the crowd just waving creepily at people. Like,
Yeah. But
yeah.
good guy happy Doink. It sucks.
And Matt Bourne was just a much better wrestler.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah.
No offense to Ray Apollo, but Matt Bourne was a much better wrestler. And then we
Who was
had
that? Who was at Hamburg?
that was Ray Apollo. That was this Doink.
Yeah.
This doing okay.
That was Matt
Dude.
Bourne is dead.
Dude, he just kept staring at people, and it was fucking terrifying.
Yeah. The sad thing about this show is 90% of the guys are dead.
There were a few Doinks. There were at least 2 Doinks at the Hamburg.
Yeah.
Brooklyn Brawler was
Oh,
also
yeah,
there.
Brooklyn Blau was doing.
I don't think Steve Kern was there. No. So, and then there were probably a few people that played Doink on the Indies.
Yeah.
So after this, we have a very special celebrity guest in the building.
Hi.
President Bill Clinton.
Hi.
is-
I'm here with IRS. He's right behind me. We're talking about taxes.
Your
He
Bill
didn't look
Clinton
real.
voice is he looked great, but I think Andy's Bill Clinton voice is better than his.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The guy could do like here and there, and then we'll go out right away.
He
Yeah.
looked like him though.
Yeah,
he
did.
looked
He
a
did look
lot
Bill
like him.
Clinton.
How did they get away with that?
It's an impersonator. It's parody.
Oh,
But did you see there was a more important president in that box? WWF
Tunney.
President Jack Tunney
Right
was
next to
there.
him.
Yeah. My president,
Yeah.
Jack Tunney, a Canadian president.
When you get trust.
And then
matches.
IRS is sitting behind him, and of course, they got to do the Vince political humor. IRS is like, "Thank you, Mr. President, for raising our taxes." So then we do have the Falls Count Anywhere match, Randy Savage and Crush, and we kind of mentioned it earlier. It's just really weird rules, where instead of just Falls Count Anywhere and a pin can happen anywhere in the building, once somebody gets pinned, I guess falls don't count anywhere because they don't really count in the ring.
Yeah, they count everywhere but the ring.
Yeah, because if you pin somebody in the ring, they're in the ring because so it's falls count anywhere but inside the ring, and you have to answer a count. If you get pinned, you have 60 seconds to get back to the ring, and if you don't answer the count, the match is over. So the whole thing, I wonder if Ghetto, a young Ghetto, watched this match and said, racing to get back in the ring. I'm going to work this into every match for the next 10
Yeah.
years.
I like this, but
I
let's
like-
make it longer.
Yeah.
20 seconds.
New Japan countout spots were born at WrestleMania 10.
17, 18, 19.
Has anybody ever gotten counted out in one of those matches?
No.
It never.
I think Yano did once.
I think
something.
I think they. Well, I know one of the
tied
G1s,
someone
like
to
they put
something.
somebody in an elevator and they got counted out during the pandemic. But Savage is so over. It's Randy Savage at the Garden. He's over like nobody's business. It is his final WrestleMania. It's his final televised match. He did some house show matches after this, but it's his final televised WWF
commentary.
match. He was already doing commentary for the most part. He started doing commentary.
Is Raw a thing at this point already?
Yeah, Raw started in '93. Raw's about a little over a year old now.
Okay, so Raw started what for Mania 9?
Right before Mania 9. Raw started right before the 1993 Royal Rumble.
So Saturday main event was pretty much your only weekly television.
No, there was primetime wrestling.
Primetime Wrestling was the show on USA Monday nights before Raw,
and that was 2 hours.
But it was a studio show, and then there was a show like clip match, like matches from like house shows.
What made them make Raw? Like, what was their? If they already had a show on a Monday, what made them go Raw?
I think I'm gonna guess Primetime Wrestling's ratings might have dipped. They messed with the format on Primetime. Primetime Wrestling's golden era was Bobby Heenan and Gorilla Monsoon doing Bobby Heenan and Gorilla Monsoon things. It was fun, and then they changed it to Vince and Bobby. And they had an audience, and I think they started filming at a Titan or
like a talk show.
Yeah. It was almost more like TNT. It was like TNT with more wrestling, which was like an old show they did, like a talk show. And then that only lasted a little bit, and then they started doing like a round table where it almost looked kind of like this, except that it would be Vince McMahon at the desk. You'd have 2 baby faces and 2 heels, and sometimes Monsoon and Heenan would be on there.
Mr. Perfect.
The most famous thing was it was where Mr. Perfect turned babyface when he came back.
Okay.
He dumped a pitcher of water on Heenan's head. And I guess it was just starting to lose steam. Like, it would sometimes be like, it's Vince McMahon with Slick and Hillbilly Jim.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, man.
They're really scraping the bottom here.
And I think they were just looking for a spark. Like, 93, 94 was a bad time. Like, the steroid scandal really hurt WWF. And they were just looking for anything. And I guess they wanted a live first-run show. And that wasn't Primetime Wrestling. Your A show at the time was Superstars.
Yeah,
that was the big
syndicated
show. Yeah, it was Saturday morning was the big wrestling day. Like Monday night was a big show, but Superstars was really your big thing. So they wanted to make Raw a big deal, and so that's where all the big stuff happened. Like Ric Flair's Loser Leave Town match is on like the 4th Raw. Hulk Hogan comes back on Raw, so they made Raw the A show from the get go. And so yeah, Raw's about a year old now. It's not at the Manhattan Center as much anymore, but they were really struggling. So they're running smaller buildings. They would run like the Mid-Hudson Civic Center a lot in Poughkeepsie. They would run usually smaller buildings like 2,000, 3,000 seaters. And so, yeah, Raw was a thing.
Real quick, sorry to cut you off. If you go, they're having a Mania party at Pilgaroo Saturday and Sunday. If you show up in costume, you get discounts on your beers all day.
Oh, there we go. That'll be next Saturday.
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
Just putting that out there.
Unfortunately, I no longer fit into my Paul Bearer suit. I lost too much weight, and I don't fit into the Paul Bearer suit anymore.
I'm putting on a bandana and some sunglasses, and it's gonna get crazy in this bar.
I do still have the Jushin Liger mask though.
You can't drink it in that one though. It's gonna be hard to drink.
Yeah, it would be hard to drink.
Get you a straw.
Yeah,
I was just gonna say a straw.
I do have a gift card burning a hole in my pocket for that place too. But anyway,
You owe me a sip.
I brought a crowler last week.
Oh, that's right. I gave him my sip.
So the other thing too is like the crowd is so hyped for Randy Savage, and then Crush comes out with Mr. Fuji. That's his opponent. Crush turned heel by Randy Savage is doing commentary, and Crush was like somehow Randy Savage's good friend, and Crush turned on Randy Savage and did a press slam where he dropped him throat first on the guardrail, and Savage was gone for a while. But to answer your question, Savage had been doing commentary on and off since 1991. That's when he lost the retirement match to Warrior at WrestleMania 7. And so that whole time where he was retired, he was a commentator, but he came back later that year, had a run as the champion in 92. And then he kind of, after that run as champion, he was mostly a commentator again.
Kind of want to fizzle him out wrestling.
Once you hit 40, Vince didn't want you really anymore.
Yeah.
And Randy Savage had a lot left in the tank. He, like later this year, he goes to WCW and he has some great matches. Like his run with Flair, like the NWO is what shot WCW to the moon in '96, but they really started to get strong off the Flair Savage feud earlier that year. In late '95. Like that was where WCW really started to get some momentum going. And so, like, yeah, but Vince is going to go for a youth movement more often than not. Maybe not now because like Brock.
Yeah, now he kind of is the other way. He wants the old established stars.
Yeah, because he doesn't feel like the young guys can get over.
But whose fault's that?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this is where like when Crush is coming out, Savage runs down the aisle.
He won't get new guys over. He's pulling back nostalgia.
Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah. So Savage is running at Crush, and Mr. Fuji's there. Mr. Fuji just kind of casually steps to the side a little bit, like just.
If you real quick, John says I'm gonna go as Bash and Booger. If you go as Bash and Booger, Tony Deppen might buy your drinks all night for free.
Yeah, Tony Deppen will. Well, Tony Deppen's not going to be there.
Yeah, Tony
Deppen will be in Dallas.
Yeah, he will be very disappointed if he doesn't see a Bash and Booger. The gimmick wrestlers are his favorite.
Yeah,
the Bash and Booger.
And Bash and Booger chief among them.
Yeah,
but yeah. Obviously, Tony Deppen will be otherwise occupied and will not be at Pilgrim. He'll be as far as Friday night, he's going to be wrestling Biff Busick. So I don't think he's going to be. I don't think he's going to be in Pottsville. But anyway, one of the other weird things about this match is Crush pins Randy Savage in like 30 seconds. So he just takes the wind out of the crowd's sails.
Crush, that's an amalgam of Kona Crush and Demolition Crush.
Yeah, he's
the red
evil Crush.
Colors on, red and black. I was like, okay.
It was usually purple and black. I think it was like a red or orange here.
Yeah, it was red. I was like,
and Savage enters the bell, even though Fuji hits him with the flag too. And then they just, it's the rules just kind of killed this match.
Yeah, waiting 60 seconds every time. Just the crowd's like, I'm fucking over
Randy hits
this.
the big elbow off the top, and then there's like, should I pin him? And they push him out of the ring, and then pins him outside. And then gets taken back in the ring. Like that.
Macho Man has a hard time with stipulations in matches.
Yeah.
You put a stipulation in front of Randy, he will find a way to make it weird.
Just make it a regular
like
match.
Rumbles. Randy is not a Rumble guy.
No.
He eliminated. I don't know if you're aware. He eliminated himself in a Rumble.
No, I don't remember this.
After he tried to pin a guy.
Well, the kick out eliminated him. He didn't eliminate himself.
Yeah.
It was the force of Yokozuna's kick out. He tried to eliminate himself the year before. They had the cover for him because he hopped over the top rope to go after Jake Roberts. And they're like, you have to be eliminated by somebody. You can't eliminate yourself, even though people have done that.
So they were trying to cover.
Times.
They were trying to cover for him.
Randy has a hard time in stipulation style matches.
He's got the madness.
Yeah, he's a little crazy. Just give me those one-on-ones with a simple false count. Or this match is scheduled for one fall.
Kind of false count.
So yeah, when Crush got pinned outside, it was like he tried to throw salt in Savage's eyes, but Savage blocks it and goes into Crush's eyes. And
he has the salt and he knocks the salt.
Yeah, he hit his hand and the salt got knocked into Crush's eyes. The salt.
Yeah, it wasn't baby.
Smelled amazing in the arena that night.
I always love when South Philly's Finest throws the salt in the air before their matches. So Crush gets pinned outside, but then Fuji dumps a pitcher of water on Crush to revive him. And that gets him in the ring. So it winds up in the back to this weird like truss system where Savage pins Crush after just throwing him into a door.
Yeah.
And they didn't do a lot of thought on what move should be done here. Just threw him into a door and pinned him.
He tried to string him up, but then he falls down.
Yeah, he was trying to make the knot there with the hook or whatever. And then as soon as he walks away, he just falls out of
Crush
it.
Right on his fucking hand.
Like, what?
But yeah, so Crush has to act like I'm stuck here. I can't get out. And so that's Savage's
Fuji's
win.
daddy can't go help him.
Yeah.
So that's Savage's win. And then they show him at the Paramount Theater later, which is like this little theater where they do like overflow. You can watch it the show on a big screen. And he goes up in front of the crowd like, I've only just begun. Yeah. Last match on pay-per-view ever in WWF. So then
I'm still standing by it. I think the mixed tag is better than this match.
Neither one was that good.
I don't know.
I'm going mixed tag over it.
It's either flip a coin, really.
So then, not the third best match on this show was our next match for the women's title.
Oh boy,
Leilani Kai against Alundra Blaze.
Even in '94, what did they dig her out of?
Yeah,
she still looked like she's from '86.
Yeah, she looked rough.
She looked awful.
Leilani Kai was the defending women's champion at WrestleMania 1.
Yeah, and nothing against. I mean, Hogan was still around and stuff, but like she just looked terrible. Like that hair was awful, the makeup was awful, her suit was.
You
awful.
had women like you had
how was Luna not on your match?
Yeah.
Right. I would have much rather seen Luna.
They didn't have that many women, so maybe they already had a Luna.
Maybe they were like afraid to wrestle Luna because you didn't know which one you were getting.
I don't think Medusa was afraid to wrestle anybody.
I think she could have handled herself.
Medusa wrestled Aja Kong. She's not afraid of Luna.
So I mean, I don't know. Maybe they already did that feud at this point. I don't know.
They may have done I know that this was really early in the Alundra Blaze run. It was like the end of '93. They were doing a tournament on Raw. I think they had like Heidi Lee Morgan.
Kai had no business being in that match. Ryan
Yeah,
Box says.
I'm just trying to think.
I agree.
Like anybody that was in the LPWA.
Dakota Kai's mom, by the way.
Yeah.
So maybe you should be a little respectful.
This girl.
He's looking at you like, really? No, not at all.
I was like, wait,
Dakota
what?
Kai's from New Zealand. Leilani Kai's from like Hawaii.
Yeah.
Um,
Hawaii.
She was also one of the she had these short-lived women's tag team titles, the original
she
women's tag.
did,
She was
with-
part of the Glamour Girls.
I can't think of everyone's name. Won't come to me.
Do you want me to just say it?
Yeah, go ahead, say it.
Judy Martin
Judy Martin.
and Leilani Kai were the
Ryan's
Glamour
like,
Girls.
And they
Line
didn't,
them up. I'll knock
they,
them down.
they didn't even look that good then.
And they
her gear was awful. Everything was awful.
where were the jumping bomb angels?
yeah, what
Could
are
have
the
one of
A
them,
and
yeah.
B? You couldn't think you could brought B over?
Where was Miss A?
Yeah.
Remember that from it was Dusty Rose. They had a women's tag team, Japanese women's tag match, and I think it was Dynamite Kansai was in it, and she was just Miss A.
Yeah.
That was just
Couldn't say they're Japanese names.
and Dusty was like, Miss A is my girl, baby. That's the only name I can say. I love Miss A.
Wait a minute, we thought that one was your girl. Well, she is my girl, baby.
Miss A. I know how to say her name. So yeah, this is not for lack of effort on Medusa Alundra Blaze's part. She was working hard here, and she is like, oh, you could work with a broomstick.
Yeah,
you might as well.
There's
in
only
this
so
match.
much you can do. And let Leilani Kai a little past her prime here.
This was also you had like the mixed tag match at WrestleMania 5, but this was the first women's match, just one woman versus another woman
Yeah.
since WrestleMania 2.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, with
Which
Wendy
was-
Richter.
No, that was one. That was
yeah.
Wendy Richter and Leilani Kai. WrestleMania 2, it was Fabulous Moolah against Velvet McIntyre
Okay.
for the
yeah.
women's title.
Wow. Maybe they
Velvet
should brought back
McIntyre.
Velvet McIntyre. Drew McIntyre's mom.
Yes, that one
yeah.
is true.
They could have brought her in. They could have brought anybody. You could have got some indie woman, maybe. I know women's wrestling wasn't.
Yeah, Debbie Malenko, I'm sure, was around.
Yeah.
Anybody like that.
Jesus, I know somebody.
I don't think Sherry was in. Well, I think Sherry, they parted ways with Sherry, but
Yeah,
she wasn't in WCW yet. She was in ECW, I think. She was
Okay,
managing
yeah.
Shane Douglas at this
It's
point.
real close, yeah, to when she would have been there.
Yeah, there's a million people.
Yeah.
Tina Ferrari from Glow.
Yeah.
Ivory could have been on WrestleMania years early. Yeah, Terry Power. She was the LPWA champion before she was Tori. Like
Mhm.
she could have been there. Like
They could have got anybody from Japan.
yeah, literally
Anyone.
anybody.
Anyway.
Which they did. Right after this, you had Alundra Blaze's next opponent, and her best opponent in this run was Bull Nakano. And that was shortly after this. So Bull Nakano and her had some good matches. And Judy Martin, there it is. The one half of the Glamour Girl.
Well, Alundra Blaze wins with the German suplex.
Yes.
Next.
It's exactly how you should win.
And Jerry Lawler is vicious.
Yeah, calling her a horse and stuff.
Yeah, just making fun of her face.
I know how many mission can lose some weight. Look at a picture of Alundra Blaze. Their appetite will go right away.
Wow.
Yeah.
She wasn't bad looking though, was she?
I didn't think she was bad looking. I didn't really think she was. She wasn't Missy Hyatt 92.
Who was?
Nobody.
Well, they did have that was a big thing at the one Beach Blast. They had the
Oh, she looks so hot.
it was the they had the bikini contest with Medusa and Missy Hyatt. It was like the beauty contest.
Yeah, and then she like sits in the she goes in the changing thing and just sits there the whole show or something.
Yeah, well, she went in there and then something happened where like they made like the inference that Medusa was naked in there.
Yeah.
Like I think Missy went in and came out with her bathing suit. And then Jesse Ventura goes in the tent. It's like Medusa's the winner.
Yeah. That is funny.
She was actually a lizard person.
Watch that on the Peacock.
After I seen that her naked, I went off the grid in Mexico.
Her bikini was made of thermite, McMahon. Listen here, Monsoon. Where's Missy Hyatt?
It's always fun to do Jesse.
Missy Hyatt's controlling the weather.
Yeah.
I saw her at a Wawa in Bristol.
That's true. I seen that guy. He definitely controls the
I
weather.
saw Missy Hyatt.
I control the weather for real, motherfucker. I was like, I'm just trying to piss my guy.
So then they do a crowd shot, and with Moolah, Mae Young's there, but they don't even
Yeah,
mention
they
her.
don't say her.
But there was Moolah, Captain Albano was there.
Ryan
Volkov.
Box said, I'm very certain that bikini contest made me a man.
Ooh, tell you, go back and look
Absolutely.
at Missy Hyatt 92. That's the height of her hotness.
Anyways,
Yes,
Fabulous
Hey,
Moolah.
Missy Hyatt will be in Joey Janela's corner.
Yeah.
No, not Chris Dickinson's corner.
There you go.
Missy Hyatt also. I'm a fan of her run with the Nasty Boys too.
I liked her. I didn't like her hair,
which was right before this. Right before this was '93. But she was always really good as a heel, like a heel personality.
Yeah.
She could also. She had the personality too when they would let her, when she wasn't just being a generic announcer.
Yeah, and
like she was
blonde.
she was so good as a heel. Anyway, our next match is for the WWF tag team titles. The defending champions, the Quebecers, with Johnny Polo as their manager.
That guy looked familiar.
What about him? What about Johnny Polo?
I thought it was 95. I'm like, you should go be Raven soon, but it's 94. So
He did the pose.
did he?
He did like a
I don't remember.
And at this point, I'm still like, it's Scotty Flamingo.
Yeah, Scotty Flamingo.
Or Scott Anthony, if you like global wrestling. Or Scotty the Body, if you're from Portland. Against Men on a Mission with Oscar.
Yeah, and I said to Brian and Whip, I forgot that Oscar is a terrible rapper.
Oh, he's the worst.
Yes.
He is. It was awful.
Oh, before this,
Awful.
poor Shawn Michaels.
Oh yeah.
There's an interview. Shawn Michaels got cock blocked.
Oh yeah.
Burt Reynolds.
It was Men on a Mission came out, and then in the back, Rhonda Shear, who was one of your celebrity guests.
And by 94, Burt Reynolds was kind of washed up.
Yeah, he's like,
Well, he was like the biggest actor
Yeah,
on the show.
he was on a CBS show called Evening Shade at this point.
And speaking of toupees and Just for Men,
Yeah.
Burt Reynolds.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we forgot about that.
Cy Sperling, and he had a nice hairpiece on top of the thing.
Yeah, the Fink had the
And that first announcer guy, who the hell was
Bill
that?
Dunn. He was like a road announcer. He would do announcing like, because he's at this point they still did A Towns and B Towns. You'd have two shows running.
Yeah.
Real quick, another funny thing about that fucking hair commercial spot is the fact that they had to have Doink go over and spray him with water because you can still get a shower and get wet with the fake hair.
Well, you see, not only was
So
Cy Sperling,
he's soaked and he's like,
Yeah.
not only was he the president of the Hair Club for Men, he was also a client.
yes. And now
Yes.
so is Fink and Burt Reynolds.
And all three of them are now dead too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, like I said,
That'll teach you to get
most
fake
of the
hair.
people on the show.
Yeah.
And sadly, most of them are dead.
Oh, by the way, going back to Dink, this is more of a Kelly question. Do you know Dink's real name?
No.
I am not making this up. Dink's real name is Claude Giroux.
No.
Yes. Dink, the little clown, his real name is Claude Giroux.
You're loving that match more and more by the second, aren't you?
No, I'm not. But that is funny.
He was also the macho. Well, you don't really say that word anymore, but this is literally what they call him. He was the macho midget on
Yeah.
Raw, and he was.
There's still a wrestling promotion that goes by midget wrestling.
Yeah.
And and it says make midget wrestling great again or something. Like they lean into it. I don't know what's not.
I don't
think
I
it's
don't know
one of those
what's
things where
not
when they're
anymore.
saying it's an empowerment
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah,
Like
I
there's,
guess
they're
if-
Yeah, I don't know what they
I believe
prefer
the-
anymore,
the-
so.
I usually a dwarf if they are, but not every little person is a dwarf. So
Yeah.
people-
Yeah.
like dwarfism is usually when you have this certain
from our
proportions.
area. He's part of that organization. He's fucking killing it. The guy who used to be with he was an Outbreak.
Oh yeah, it was
Savage.
Grey Wolf, yeah.
Yeah. I think I just remember by Savage, but I think he goes by he has a whole moniker. But he's killing it. He's doing the whole circuit. He's
I forget.
traveling town to town doing shows. It's fun. I'm glad it's working out for him.
Yeah.
And I will say that beyond beyond the Hearts and Sean and Razor, the hardest worker on this show is our buddy Pierre. He is bumping all over the place.
Jay
He's doing-
Savage. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, there you go.
He's bumping all over the place to do a thing where like he gets backdropped out on the Men on a Mission.
Yeah.
He is just bouncing around the
There was
ring.
a
like
nerve
a-
move too, where
How is he not
threw
paralyzed?
him at somebody too, yeah, and especially all the stuff he's been doing recently.
And he's not a small guy.
No,
No, he's a
He
put
was
together
always
dude,
he was
Yeah,
always
he
a
missed the
big.
He's
leg.
dude.
in great shape. He's
missed the
still
leg drop
is.
off the top. I was
Yeah.
like, oh
Did you see recently in Impact? He does a suicide dive to the outside to nobody.
no, yeah, I believe
He just suicide dives and lands flat on his face to the outside in a full sprint.
Yeah, I see him get powerbombed onto the floor from out of the ring by the Briscoes.
PCO
Like, what the
is
fuck?
not human.
It's fucking
Yeah.
crazy. I love that.
I wouldn't take that bump.
Me and you were watching that match, and he did the swanton.
Yeah, where he hits the ring apron.
Yeah,
nobody
to the apron to nobody.
Yeah.
And I looked at Andy, and he goes, "Was like, what a fucking psycho."
I love that guy. I love PCO. And he's great in this match.
Yeah.
Men on a Mission, maybe not the best dance partners in the world. Mabel, he looked great. He was a big dude, but
Yeah.
limited in what he can do. Mo, a little more
It's
limited too.
you gotta say a little look great costume wise
Yeah.
or outfit wise.
They
They
look
look
like
like big,
Easter eggs,
big
yeah.
Easter eggs.
The
I'm
clown
like,
outfits.
Yeah.
What in the world? Like the satin Easter egg look. I'm
And-
like, what were they thinking there?
And it misses how quickly like fads can go away. Like the whole "whoop there it is" thing.
Well, they were trying to go, I guess, on the song, right?
Yeah,
they were
which
trying
was-
to piggyback off of that.
Yeah, it was huge in 1993, like in the summer.
This will never end.
But
Whoop
this
there
is-
will be around forever.
This is now 1994, and I looked it up because of this. And Whoop There It Is all over like Mo and Mabel's gear.
Mhm.
And the #1 rap song in the Billboard Hot 100 was "Gin and Juice." So we're fully out of Whoop There It Is, and we're right in the heart of gangster rap now.
yeah.
And this is like, and the gangsters are, I think, if they're not in Smoky Mountain, they're getting there
Yeah,
soon.
they probably are in school. Yeah.
And you can't have two more polar opposites than Men on a Mission and the Gangsters.
Yeah.
And one is right for that time, and it's not Men on a Mission.
Yeah.
It is.
It's like it's like the what's up. Like this will never go
Yeah.
away.
Yeah.
What was New Jack's thing? Shout out to my boy O.J. Simpson.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Two less to worry about.
Yeah,
Like that. Keep up
crazy.
the good work.
Keep up the good work. Psycho. Yeah, I will say this though. The Quebecers were fantastic. They were good, man.
I like the Quebecers.
Yeah.
I mean, I
We
like-
put over PCO a ton, but I have a soft spot in my heart for Jacques Rougeau too. He would go ham.
yeah, he's a good entertainer.
Yeah.
He is
Talk.
so entertaining.
I like the Mountie. You
They
know.
were good heels.
Got me out of here. Got me
Yo,
out of here.
dumb hiccups.
I love it.
It's so great. And always had great music too. Whenever Jacques Rougeau is singing on a
Yeah.
track, it is great.
Yeah.
And that's good too, because it's him and Pierre singing. And Pierre, wonderful wrestler, lovely man to be around. Not the best singer in the world.
You stop it. He is the songbird of our generation.
I don't think you're going to see PCO on The Masked Singer anytime soon.
Or Oscar.
Yeah, and then
I would pay.
and
I would pay good money to see Oscar on The Masked Singer.
and then at the very end, they just take the titles as if they're
Yeah.
champion.
Yeah,
I
it's
was
that
like, what the
Men
fuck?
on a Mission wins by count out. Because speaking of bumps that might not be fun, Mabel gets they do a tandem splash, but Johnny Polo distracts the ref. And then Mabel splashes Pierre again outside the ring, and the Quebecers lose by count out. But obviously, when you lose by count out, you retain the titles. However, Men on a Mission are celebrating the ring with the titles like they
Yeah.
won it.
Yeah.
But didn't Luger do that at SummerSlam because he beats Yokozuna by
Yeah.
count out? And I think he
Yeah.
celebrated with toe. Like, and there's all these balloons are flying.
Yeah. And I was like, what? But
You're
he
not
didn't
the
win the belt.
champion.
No.
You idiot.
Yeah.
That's
And
what it felt like. And then Raven goes back to get the belts, but they just doesn't. He takes his cane and goes away.
yes. And it's not like they did an angle where like they stole the belts.
Yeah.
Like
So I'm like, what the? This doesn't make sense.
I guess they want to make the crowd happy, but the crowd's gonna be like, well, they're not the champions. They
Yeah.
understand how wrestling works. They
Yeah.
won by count out.
I don't know. I think the match was. I enjoy watching PCO. The match was.
Yeah, PCO worked hard, but it
Yeah.
was what it
Yeah.
was.
When you're stuck with Men on a Mission, there's not much you can do.
So then we move on to our first of two WWF title matches
Mhm.
here. Our guest timekeeper is Rhonda Shear
Up all night.
from USA Up All Night.
She had some big hair. Her hair was up all night.
Speaking of big hair, she had big earrings. Did you see those parakeet earrings
Yeah.
she had? Were like as big as my palm, and they're hanging
She
from
was
her
just like-
ears.
And she has made so much money. She is like an entrepreneur now.
And plus,
She-
they were cross promoting because that was US. Their synergy,
Right.
USA Saturday or Friday nights was up.
yeah, it was both. On Friday nights, it was one night it was Rhonda Shear was the host, the other night it was Gilbert Gottfried.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but yeah, she does like clothing now. She's always on like Home Shopping Network or something like that.
And of course, they had her where she wanted to fuck all the wrestlers.
Yeah, and Burt Reynolds.
Yeah, and Burt
And
Reynolds.
Reynolds.
Here it is. She designed the bra, which was an overnight success. It was the #1 selling bra worldwide with over 25 million sold internationally in
The what?
2010. The bra.
When was this? 2010.
2010.
I
Good for
do not.
Rhonda Shear.
Yeah, I do not remember this at all.
In
You never
2011,
had an Abra?
I never had an Abra.
Well, you should buy one.
in 2011, the company had
the
70.
Wonder Bra, the Breezies. Yeah.
You mean you don't buy bras on the Home Shopping Network?
Yeah.
No.
Everybody does, don't they? I thought that's where everybody bought their.
Everyone shops on the Home Shopping Network. That's why it's
Hey,
called. that.
we shop at the outlet in Lancaster. So
I used to live right near QVC's headquarters. There was a QVC store around.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've never purchased anything from Home Shopping or QVC.
well, when you have parents that are a little
I have a
That's a little old
I
fashioned.
have a
yeah.
dear friend who worked for the Home Shopping Network. A gentleman named Maven.
Nathan.
That's right. My dear friend Maven worked for the Home Shopping Network. So Ron this year is your guest timekeeper, and Donnie Wahlberg
Who
your
looked like
ring
king
announcer.
douchebag.
Yes, he
He
did.
came out and I go, who's this fucking guy?
And
When they announced Donnie, I'm like, oh, I guess New Kids in the Block probably
That's
were
who I
pretty
s-
big at this
it was
time. Or either that or fading off. I couldn't remember.
They were well past their prime, but
they were like 91.
this is when they were trying to come back, but they weren't New Kids on the Block. They were NKOTB, and they were a little more rough around the edges now.
Then no more hanging tough.
They weren't hanging tough or
Because Mark was
The
out
right
beating
stuff.
people with glass bottles.
No, Mark was already Marky Mark at this point.
Yeah.
Oh, he's after he hit people with glass bottles.
Yeah, what's the good vibration?
Yeah, that was like-
it was Marky
That was-
Mark and the Funky
that was-
Funky Bunch.
The Funky Bunch,
The
yeah.
That
Funky
was
Bunch.
mainly some black lady singing and not him.
Mhm.
He rapped.
He rapped.
Yo, it's
yeah.
about that time.
Yeah,
the
but
brain
she-
fall.
she
The rhythm
sang-
of
No,
the rhyme.
let's
She
say
sang
what
more.
really happened. He just got on screen with no shirt and his underwear sticking out,
The
and
Calvin Klein ads.
his
I want to
Calvin
feel
Klein-
sweat
yep.
coming out your pores.
Woo.
Yeah. And then he goes, then the breakdown happens. Yeah, baby, you feel that? I do too. I got the vibration.
Mhm.
Hit the drums. You've got the good. it's a banger.
Karaoke night here.
It's a
It is-
banger.
Our
it is
Tornado
a
Tag
banger.
podcast. So then we have a
If
guest
you're not
referee.
singing at home, you're not American.
We have a guest referee, and they make it a,
okay. Look at his face. Just fucking disgusted.
they make it a point to say
Well,
that
we had our Missy Hyatt moment. I'm having a little Marky Mark moment.
yeah,
I'm
it's-
right with you.
I
I'm
didn't
right.
say he wasn't good looking.
Yeah. Donnie Wahlberg is now with Jenny McCarthy, which is like my dream girl.
No,
back then.
Donnie.
Really?
Donnie wasn't good looking.
Yeah, he's married to her.
Yeah.
He's married to
They've
Jenny.
Oh yeah,
for a
he's
long
married
time.
to Jenny now.
She's a
And
little weird.
the Wahlbergs
Yeah,
hate her.
wasn't well,
apparently.
wasn't she like Jim Carrey said she was real weird?
You could fix. Never mind. Whatever.
Yeah.
yeah, I know her and Austin Aries I think have some similar ideas
Oh,
on
okay.
vaccines.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, there is a guest referee for both of the WWF title matches, and they make it clear that these referees were agreed upon
Mhm.
by both competitors, and it's Mr. Perfect, looking like he just got out of jail.
Yes.
Or he's
that and
trying
it
to
was
be Beetlejuice.
He's
What
the
is-
Hamburglar.
He did
He
get a
had, like-
great pop though.
He had like the parachute striped pants
Yeah.
and
I would
Yeah.
wear them today if they were offered to me.
It's funny. It's like referee pinstripes, like
pro
a referee
wrestling
shirt.
tees. Get on it.
It's like referee pinstripes, but this is back when the referees in WWF didn't wear that.
No, they, had
wore
the bow
bl-
ties.
They wore blue shirts with a bow
the
tie.
red bow
Yeah.
tie. Yeah.
And the WCW refs had the pinstripes, and then in like '95 they flipped it,
Yeah.
and then WCW refs started wearing the bow tie and the blue shirt, and WWF refs started wearing the stripes,
Yeah.
Zebras.
the zebra stripes.
Ryan Fox, if I ever, for any weird reason, ever get an entrance music to Outbreak
Wow.
Wrestling, just be like, and tonight, gonna do this match on commentary, and then just cue up Marky Mark.
I can't
Funky
imagine
Bunch.
Tom
That's
Brandy
gonna
coming
be
out
his
to that.
default.
Just have that.
default.
Actually, I want my theme song to be as a commentator. If we ever get one, I want "Let's Hear It for the Boy."
Okay,
Yeah,
No, come out to Jim Ross's college music.
Oh yeah, his Oklahoma music.
I
yeah.
want "Let's Hear It for the Boy," and everyone claps.
Tony have to come out to the Notre Dame fight song, not Oklahoma's.
No, that's too far away. After I did that drive one time, I was like, I don't know if I like this team anymore.
Moving on.
You can't do like, what is it, Hail to the Commanders now? Do they have a new song or something?
Oh, that's something. I don't even know what that. We'll just see how
Oh.
the season goes.
So Vince says when Lex Luger comes out, he's like, they're ready for the WWF to blast off into the next decade.
Vince was big on.
It's 1994.
That's what I
The
thought.
90s are half over.
Yeah.
It-
Next time.
You're
It-
missing
it-
the boat.
It happens on their time.
Well, yeah, and this is because we are.
Brian, it sounds like you're trying to control someone's narrative, and I don't
Right.
like it.
I am.
My
I
God.
don't.
I am.
All right,
But
go ahead.
I didn't see any super kicks or swanton bombs or anything
No.
or tope suicidas yet. So
There was one.
okay, there was, yeah,
One.
yeah. Shawn Michaels could never be in control of your narrative.
Never,
He would
Nope.
lose. He would lose
He
every
could-
match. You can't
yeah,
do a
he could've
super
win.
kick.
never win.
Let's bring back the teardrop suplex.
Yeah.
Oh boy, that was awful.
But no, this is because we are very much. This is kind of the jumping off point for the new generation era of WWF. That was a big thing in 1994. The new generation. So early on, Luger can't slam Yokozuna. This is about a 14-minute match, and I think half of that is a rest hold.
Yeah, that
It's
nerve. hold.
Yokozuna doing the
And I
nerve
said to
pin.
Brian on the way up, Lex Luger came out with Boo Boo face on.
Yeah, he had the I thought I was going to win the title tonight, and I'm not winning the title face.
Not look very.
He had the only person I think has a worst case of I'm dropping the title face is if you ever watch
Sasha Banks.
Sasha Banks.
Sasha.
Yeah, and Randy.
Um, SummerSlam, the one SummerSlam, I think it was like 2016, where she had first won the women's title from Charlotte. That is the biggest case of I'm dropping the title face ever when she comes out to wrestle Charlotte at SummerSlam.
And listen, you got to do a 14-minute wrestle because Yoko's going to wrestle twice that night.
Yeah, and his weight is starting to get out of control here. He was a lot bigger than he was a year before at WrestleMania 9, and his mobility is starting to suffer.
They have him build at like 500,
but he probably was.
He probably was, yeah. They always built him as like 520, and when they first started doing that, he was probably like 4 something, and he could move.
Yeah,
he was quick. But yeah, his weight, I think at one point he was like 700 pounds.
Wow.
And Cornette and Fuji get involved. They get bumped in the ring. Yokozuna gets knocked out with Luger's loaded metal forearm, and Luger goes to the pin. But because the managers are in the ring, Mr. Perfect won't count. And they get into an argument. Luger shoves Mr. Perfect, DQ'd, and the crowd is angry. Bullshit chants, very, very loud bullshit chants on family-friendly 1994 WWF. And what you're seeing here is, for all intents and purposes, the end of Lex Luger as a main player in WWF.
And listen, Mr. Perfect is not going to get it wrong. The guy's perfect.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right call. Watch Mr. Perfect wrestle somebody.
And so they do an interview backstage with Mr. Perfect, who's like, he's trying to clear the ring out.
So was he nursing an injury or something that Mr. Perfect wasn't wrestling?
He had left for a little bit. Mr. Perfect in 1991, a lot of those Minnesota wrestlers, we talked about this on the Robbinsdale High episode. No one can hear this. A lot of the 122. A lot of the Minnesota wrestlers were all doing Lloyd's of London insurance policies. And so many of them cashed out at Lloyd's of London and were like, we're not insuring wrestlers anymore. Yeah. And Mr. Perfect said he had a career-ending back injury and took this big lump sum cash settlement. But part of that was he could never wrestle again. And that's when he started managing Ric Flair and doing all these other things. But eventually, I guess that money started to dry up, and he started like, I could probably make more money wrestling again. And so he made a settlement, like he paid back a little bit to Lloyd's of London, made a cash settlement, and he came back in late 92, and then he left again around like the summer of 93. This was supposed to be a comeback, but I don't know if he got hurt or if he just got like there were a few times where Mr. Perfect looked like he was going to start wrestling again. And it just didn't happen until he went to WCW in 97. Or 97. Because it looked like he was going to wrestle Mark Marrow in 96 because he turned heel. He joined up with Triple H when Triple H won the Intercontinental title. And looked like they're going to do Mr. Perfect Mark Marrow. And then like right then and there, it was like, no, he signed with WCW. But yeah, it looked like they were going to do Luger and Mr. Perfect on the house show loop after this. And maybe a King of the Ring, but they did one promo. I think Mr. Perfect did a promo on like Superstars or Raw, and then he was gone again. And the next time he showed up was like a pay-per-view, like a little bit later, I think like Survivor Series. He came up and as a commentator. So yeah, like I don't know why, but
and then Lex went to the Allied Powers team with Bulldog, and then that was the end.
Yeah, he had a feud with Tatanka where he
$1 million. Yeah, it was before that
with $1 million corporation, and they would have him and Diesel with Lawrence Taylor a lot because Lawrence Taylor and Luger were actually friends. And but yeah, like by next WrestleMania, WrestleMania 11, he's in the opener. It's him and Davey Boy Smith as the Allied Powers against Eli and Jacob Blue, the Bruise Brothers. So that's this is kind of the end of Lex Luger as your not just your number one babyface, but as a main event babyface because. Yeah, from here, the next program is with Tatanka and the $1 Million Corporation, and then he goes from that to just being in a tag team. And then Harvey Whippleman is out.
Yeah, Downtown Bruno.
He is yelling at Howard Finkel, just insulting Howard Finkel, this New York Yankee. And so he rips Howard Finkel's suit, and them's fighting words at this point. And Howard Finkel shoves him back. And this would lead to a long string of tuxedo matches on house shows between Harvey Whippleman and Howard Finkel. Because I think it was just funny for Vince to these like this little scrawny guy,
ripping clothes
and this
off.
chubby bald announcer guy were ripping each other's clothes off. They did it on Raw once, and they would also have like they would have Harvey Whippleman with Well Done, who was a tag team at the time, and then the Bushwhackers and Finkel. So they kind of went into that feud too. But Adam Bomb is being managed by Harvey Whippleman.
Adam Bomb looks awesome.
He's huge.
He's real tan, his hair. Like, he looks fucking awesome, but he's not the best wrestler.
Yeah, and then him and Crush would later become Crying.
And he couldn't really talk. So
He was from 3 Mile Island,
yeah,
Pennsylvania guy.
get it? Atom Bomb.
Oh,
he's
3 Mile
nuclear.
Island. Yeah. Get
And he would wear contacts in his eyes so they
Cheesy.
looked like they were
And
glowing.
they had them goggles, and you could buy them for a time. I wish I had
Yeah.
the Atom Bomb goggles. And there is on Pro Wrestling Tees right now. This guy does art, and he has an Atom Bomb shirt. Looks awesome.
That is cool.
He does Demolition 2 and somebody like all 90s wrestlers.
He was not long before this, a year or two before this, he was on a Starcade as the
Really?
Night Stalker.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, and then you go back and be Wrath.
Mm-hmm. But at this point, he's Atom Bomb, and I think this is right before he turned babyface, because I think by that summer or that fall at least he was a babyface, and so Atom Bomb is menacing Howard Finkel, but Earthquake comes in to make the save, and
to a pretty big pop.
yeah, belly to belly suplex, power slam, Earthquake butt splash pin. That's the whole match.
Yep.
The show's running long.
Yeah.
The show's running long. We got to make this match short.
And Sean and Razor are gonna go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that
Well,
means-
we'll, and then something else happens because of that. So that then we go backstage to Yokozuna and Jim Cornette. Jim Cornette looks like a ringmaster. He
I'm
looks like he's
gonna
going to
tell you
manage main
what.
event.
That outfit was perfection. I will say that.
That
I
jacket.
loved it.
It
And
was
then the
awesome.
golden tennis racket.
That's
So
Perfection.
good.
for the big shows. You get the golden pins.
Yeah.
See, Yokozuna had two managers because you had Mr. Fuji as his manager. But the thing with Yokozuna was, even though he could speak English, they always did the whole thing until he went babyface. Like,
You couldn't talk.
he's a
Couldn't
Japanese
talk.
guy and he doesn't speak any English, even though he's a Samoan guy that speaks perfect English.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
Uh,
gonna say, isn't he supposed to be? He's really Samoan.
yeah, he's part of the Anawai family.
Right.
Yes.
And Fuji doesn't speak any English either.
Yeah.
No, he already did with Demolition.
His Yokozuna's mother, I believe, and Roman Reigns' father were brother and sister.
Oh,
and
okay, okay.
Alpha, the Wild Samoan, is their brother, and Alpha Jr. we know from
That should be an episode. We should just go through the whole
The
family. tree.
Samoan
Wow.
family.
the
The
with
family
all
tree.
so much respect for the Hearts. That is the best wrestling
Oh,
family
no doubt.
in the world, bar none.
We could do a family tree episode. We could do the Samoan dynasty tree, and we could do the Hearts tree.
Yeah, we talked about the Von Erichs a little while ago.
Mhm.
That's another big one. Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
that,
so
I think
many
that'd be
great
a fun
families.
spin-off episode.
Yeah, the Samoan. Yeah, and
And the Scott Hall episode will be coming. We are going to do a full dedication to Scott Hall. This is definitely not your Scott Hall tribute, even though this is why we picked it. But
Yeah.
there is something coming.
And here is Scott Hall's finest hour, his best match ever, in my opinion. Some people might like the second ladder match better.
I like this one better.
Yeah,
I like this one better.
and it's Razor Ramon, the real defending Intercontinental Champion,
Who also looks awesome.
He
Yeah.
looked great
Yeah, he does.
against Shawn Michaels. The story here, and why there's two titles. Shawn Michaels, you're not going to believe this, was the Intercontinental
He
Champion,
didn't want to lose it.
and it was time for him to lose the title. And he's like, I don't know. I think I might go to WCW instead. I think I broke my hand. I think I want to be an announcer. I think I just tripped and I broke my toe. I think
This is not when he failed the steroid test, right?
Michael's failed a steroid test.
Didn't he fail a well? Oh no, he failed a wellness policy
wellness,
test,
Yeah,
and he was pissed that he had to. This is what I thought.
It may be that
he failed the wellness test, and they're like, "Well, you have to."
They
drop
were
the-
drug testing.
And he's
this.
like, "You have to drop the title." He goes, "Fuck that! Like everyone here is on shit. You're gonna test me? Like you're
Yeah.
champion, and I have to drop my title." He goes, "You're not fucking taking it." And then he wouldn't send his title back.
Yeah, well, I think you're exactly right. That would have been here, and he did
Yeah.
quit. He quit the company, and they did a battle royal on Raw, and it wasn't like a battle royal for the title. It's like the last two guys in the battle royal. It's like with the Dynamite ring now.
Yeah.
The last two guys in the battle royal are going to wrestle the next week on Raw for the Intercontinental title, and it comes down to Razor Ramon and Rick Martel,
And the model.
and Razor Ramon is your Intercontinental champion,
And
then,
Sean was more inclined to lose it to his buddy than
Mhm.
anybody else. Yeah.
well, he didn't lose it to him. He didn't lose it to him.
Yeah.
He got stripped of the title, and
Well, I'm saying
In this match,
in
though.
this
Yeah.
match, he
well, yeah, and he lost to him before this. I think we brought it up last week. Like I saw a lot of this match on a house show.
Yeah.
And it's funny. I was thinking earlier on this episode, there was that same house show. There was a Falls Count Anywhere match between Randy Savage and Crush,
How about that?
but it wasn't the same rules. And Crush won.
Ooh.
Maybe it wasn't no, it was just a match. I take that back. But they were fighting in the aisle, and Yokozuna came out and hit Randy Savage with the salt bucket. And then Crush got back in the ring and Savage got counted out.
there it is. Countouts happen.
The salt bucket, yeah. So anyway, a phenomenal match here.
Mhm.
The first ladder match that most people would see. They called it the first
I
ladder
think it
match
was
in the
the first
WWF.
one on pay-per-view, major pay-per-view.
It was the first one on TV.
First one in WWE, wasn't it?
No,
The first one in
No.
WWE that was not televised was Bret Hart, because Bret Hart brought the idea of a
was-
ladder match from
It
Calgary.
was Brett and Sean.
It was Brett and Sean. It was on Coliseum Video.
Yeah.
And this was the first one that wasn't like the first ladder match I ever saw was a barbed wire ladder match. They
Oh, wow.
barely used the ladder, and it was on a tape of it was like the Great American Bash Tour highlights.
So real quick, so Sean, not just trying to blow Sean here, but Sean is in your first ladder match. He's in your first Hell in a Cell. He's in your first Elimination Chamber, and is he for the?
Yeah, he was. He won the first one.
He
Oh,
won,
did it? Oh, wow.
and he was the first competitor at that time to be like the grand. Was he the first
Grand Slam. Yeah.
first Grand Slam? And he was also your
Only
was he-
because the European title.
Yeah,
Who
that-
cares?
yeah,
about the
and then
European?
he was the first one to go 1 through 30 in the Rumble too, right?
Yes,
Yes.
And I think the first person to win it twice. No, he wasn't
No,
the first
Steve
person to win it
Austin.
twice.
that was Hogan.
And Hogan
yeah,
did
Hogan,
that.
Hogan, yeah. Then Steve Austin.
Yeah.
And then the second person to go through one and win was Rey Mysterio.
Mhm.
No, he was number 2.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
The second person that went from number 1 does not exist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one did that.
No one did it. And then after no one did it, did somebody win from 1 recently? Edge did, didn't he? Or did Edge win from 2?
I think Edge was 2.
Because I know
or
Orton and Edge were
3.
1 and 2.
Yeah.
I forget.
But anyway,
Yeah.
Michaels is he's got a lot of milestones. I never said Shawn Michaels wasn't talented.
No,
No, that was just kind of just to put out there that this is the first ladder match, and Sean he's not accustomed, like he's accustomed to kind of setting those bars and those styles of matches.
But the ladder match I saw from the Great American Bash was Tully Blanchard and Dusty Rhodes, and it was like a $20,000 ladder match and a bag of money. I think it was like a burlap bag with a dollar sign on it.
I love it.
And they didn't really. The ladder was outside the ring, and they just had a match, and Dusty beat up Tully. They did more spots with the barbed wire than anything. And then once Tully was out, just Dusty slid out of the ring, grabbed the ladder, and climbed it. They didn't do ladder spots at all. And then they had the one with Brett and Sean, because Brett did them with Dynamite Kid in Calgary.
Yeah.
They were like the first ladder matches.
Yeah, the Hart family in their federation were like the first ones to really.
Stampede.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
an old school. It's on one of the Bret Hart TV.
Yeah.
where it's Jake Roberts is in it. It's a ladder. They have to lean against something on the
Yes.
ceiling.
Oh,
It's like just a pain.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, and they
It's like the
climb
H2O
that.
ladder. Yeah.
Oh, it's. I was like, ooh.
And
That makes my butthole pucker just thinking about it.
one of the other big things here is Shawn Michaels with a amazing mullet.
Oh, yeah.
His
A
mullet.
lot of
is
mullets
in-
on this show.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was thinking that too.
This Shawn Michaels gear and look is like when I close my eyes at night, I think Shawn Michaels. This is the look.
I don't doubt that you close your eyes at night and think of Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, the waterfall mullet, the white and red pants. Like this is my favorite Shawn Michaels gear. Is
I
this?
almost think somebody had to curl his ends too, because they were nice and straight, and then all of a sudden
Possibly.
curled.
This is my favorite gear. Dude, even when like the guy in the crowd, the Asian dude in the crowd who's wearing the white jacket with the fucking his gear at that point was sick. I loved it.
And Razor just looks so.
He always had gear except for when he came back and he had the chocolate Hershey.
Hated
That
it.
was the Elimination
Right.
Chamber.
And he had the schoolboy hair.
Yeah,
the Dutch boy haircut. Yeah.
Oh,
That was the only time where he looked terrible. But other than that, usually his gear's usually pretty good.
And
I wasn't a huge fan of the one gear he did. The Texas gear. I didn't like the Texas hearts. They were like the Texas flag on the hearts.
I'm trying.
I wasn't a huge
I
fan
didn't
of
mind the black and gold one he did for a little bit.
Yeah, I
That
like the
was
black
nice,
and gold.
yeah.
The second
The black and silver was cool
And the
too.
DX when they put DX symbols over the hearts.
Yep.
the second ladder match, the one in '95 in Pittsburgh, was the one where he had like the blue and black.
Yeah, blue.
But and he was the defending champion.
Yeah.
In that one, it was supposed to be Shawn Michaels and Sid, and they're like, this show's gonna suck. And like, I know what we can do. We can put Shawn and Razor in.
Where was Sid at this time? Did he go to WCW for a hot
Sid
minute?
at this point was
Or softball starting up?
Sid had just gotten fired by WCW because at '93,
Oh,
the end of
the-
'93 was a scissor
yeah.
incident. So Sid is kind of a man without a country at this point. He might have shown up in USWA somewhere along the way, but I think the next time he pops up on nationwide TV is in WrestleMania, right after WrestleMania 11. He
end,
comes
yeah.
back as Sean's bodyguard when
Yeah,
right before
Psycho.
that, yeah, because once Sean fires Diesel, his new bodyguard is Sid,
Yeah.
and it was the closest they ever came to calling him Sid Vicious, because Sean introduces him as the Vicious Sid.
Yeah.
All right, we're about an hour.
We have
35.
two matches left,
Yeah.
so and this one is so good. It has more psychology. Like the high spots aren't as like jaw
Crazy, yeah.
dropping. Like there's nobody doing flips off the ladder, but the psychology is there. Like ladder matches don't have. it looks like two guys trying to win a match, and they're going to use a ladder too.
Yep.
And Sean just throws the ladder at Razor Ramon. Razor looks so cool here. He goes under the ladder. He's just dripping charisma. And of course, we do the old Shawn Michaels gets his pants pulled down spot.
Oh yeah.
And he can't pull him up right.
Yeah.
Nope.
Ass out, baby.
Ass out.
Him, DiBiase and Flair would always love to do that spot. Back
And
in the
Tony
day.
Deppen.
Oh, Deppen on the match with Ron Funches. He did the pants spot, and he was outside the ring, like rolling into the crowd with his ass out.
Flair would always take a couple bumps too. Like, Flair pants up.
And then just some things that look like, oh, that could not have felt good.
Well, even Razor when he went out in the concrete.
Yeah, the backdrop on the concrete.
That was rough, I thought.
In New York too, where by law you have to have the mats down. There was a part where the mats weren't down and he got backdropped on it.
Yep.
And like even GCW, they had the mats down because you have to in New York. ECW would have
Was
mats.
that in that house show that you went to when they ripped up the mats?
I don't remember.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
I remember like the crouch off the ladder. I remember Diesel getting ejected, which happens early on here. I remember
The slingshot into the ladder.
the slingshot in the ladder, the
Dude,
splash.
just like the running slide kick under the bottom rope into the
Yeah.
gut, like
Mhm.
that's something you see in every single ladder match spot now, and this one just because it was the first time you ever seen it, I was like,
everything
oh
was
my
fresh.
god,
Yeah.
like
And Michaels is so good at bumping. He's bumping around like he's one of the best bumpers.
and no
ever.
blood.
No.
There was no blood.
I don't, in this time WWF there was no blood.
The blood was banned.
Yeah,
Because next year is 95, and that's when Brett would very sneakily blade in a match against the British Bulldog.
oh, I was just say this,
And he would swear to Vince. That was a little after that.
yeah,
He would swear to Vince. Oh,
Our way, brother.
it was hard way, Vince. I'm not a stinking hyena. I would not blade myself.
I'm not a stinking
my
hyena.
Brett is kind of mixing my Jesse Ventura
Yeah.
now. It's not working. But like he quick cut himself, and Vince was there on commentary and didn't even notice. That's how good Brett was. Not like now where
The excellence of execution.
MJF has to go under the ring.
Yeah.
Yeah, when their ass is hanging out of the apron, they're blading.
So, some of the cool things: the drop kick in the ladder, and the tip falls on Razor, and Razor's shoulder blocks the ladder, and
Hey,
Michael's fall.
Slams them off the ladder and the
So
ladder kind of like,
Sean was another thing about Sean that just I liked, especially even in this match of shows, is all intents and purposes, like Razor's a big dude. He's
He
tall,
is,
he's so
yeah.
muscular. And I'm not saying Sean's not muscular, but you like growing up as someone who was always a tiny kid, and I always had everybody was always bigger than me. And it's just like it's not about the size, about your fight. And then like that's where Sean stood out for me as a wrestler because he was always undersized, but he would go in there against bigger guys, and it made it look believable.
It's kind of weird when you're a heel, though. That's more of a babyface thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he was the cocky little shit that would still
Yeah.
find a way to go out there and fight. And like,
And it really pays off in the psychology at the end of this match because Michaels does get crouched and his leg gets tangled, and Razor's climbing the ladder.
he does kind of get out.
He gets out, but it's so good. He gets out, but I rewound it because I was like, did he do that? And I'm like, oh my god, he did Sean so good. He gets his leg out and immediately catches his arm. He gets his arm caught.
Oh, okay.
He tied up his arm. And then as soon as Razor is grabbing the belt, he frees his arm and makes a dive for the ladder,
He
but
got-
he's
he always
just a
had to do
half
that.
a second too late. It was so good.
Yeah.
It was so good.
You always have to do that half a second. Oh,
mhm.
He just dives for the ladder, but
That's my favorite tag match where someone's right there to break it up. You think it's gonna be another breakup, and
Yeah.
it's a 3. You're like,
Yeah.
what?
and then
Like
and then you land
Lucha Bro, the 3-way tag match, the 3-way tornado tag match at
the pay-per-view.
the pay-per-view when they were right there and they get the 3 count for Lucha's for the Lucha Express,
Brothers.
and it was just like, oh fuck, they won, like they retained.
Yeah.
I mean,
like-
Jurassic
Jurassic Express, sorry,
or Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus.
I keep thinking
A boy and
Luchasaurus.
his dinosaurs. They were
Yeah.
first
Yeah,
off.
remember that?
I like when they were like a second away. I think that's always a good touch.
So then we go backstage where the heel team in the 10-man tag can't decide who their captain is.
So the match is
So the match is canceled. They did it on Raw the next night. Jeff Jarrett, Rick Martel, IRS, and the Head Shrinkers defeated Tatanka, the 1-2-3 Kid, the Smoking Guns, and Thurman Sparky Plug. I'm sorry, Sparky Thurman Plug.
Get it?
STP.
STP oil.
STP.
Aha, Richard Petty.
And then we're running long, but let's go to that Bill Clinton guy again.
Yeah.
Let's go to-
It's made with $1 million, man. Look at him. Look right there. I don't want to talk politics. So that's not what I want to do.
I'm just enjoying myself today.
I just want to watch.
I just want to
wrestling.
watch wrestling. Vince. I mean, Todd. Whatever.
Whoever's in charge of this shithole.
So then we have more celebrity guests. You have your guest ring announcer, Burt Reynolds,
Who is an awful ring announcer?
who is drunk off his ass. Who is very drunk. And he has like,
Jared Ferguson. That's it's funny. It's funny. That's my name.
and then your guest timekeeper who comes out with the Pat Patterson shield from the crowd, Jenny Garth
Yeah.
from
I was
90210.
like, who is that? And they go, Jane Garfield. Oh, all right.
And then your guest referee.
Hot at the time, you know.
Yeah, 90210 was huge.
Yeah.
And then she had the show like later with like Amanda Bynes, I think.
90210. What did that ever spark in wrestling ever again?
Yeah.
Oh,
Your co-star's kid is
I-
going to later be a tag team champion. Then your guest ref get a huge pop.
yeah.
One of the main eventers of WrestleMania 1, Roddy Piper.
And he
And
looked great.
he looks
He did.
amazing
Yeah,
here.
he looked phenomenal here. That's like, why did he wrestle? Get rid of 3 of these matches. Have Piper wrestle Mr. Perfect. There you go.
That would have been
Oh, could you imagine?
Yeah.
Great.
You
And-
don't have to announce it with special match we have.
Piper versus
Mr.
Savage.
Yeah.
And Piper did wrestle at the next pay. He wrestled a King of the Ring, but he wrestled Lawler for some reason. That was when they did the King. It was like the King's Court against Piper's Pit. And remember, he brought the guy out who was supposed to be Piper. He's like this like little skinny kid who was like chewing gum.
Oh, yeah.
And then Piper brought him out at the show. It was weird. So Piper's your guest ref. Yoko, the champion, comes out first. I never liked that,
Yeah, I don't like that either.
but
usually that means your own moves too.
and he did. And then so Brett comes out, and then Yoko jumps him as he's getting in the ring. Cornette gets up on the apron, and Piper takes a swing at him, and Cornette drops down. So it's kind of the opposite of Mr. Perfect. Like Piper's not taking any crap from Yoko's people now. Brett pounds Yoko down, and he's going for a pin, but Cornette pulls Piper out of the ring. And now Piper just cold cocks, so Piper nails him.
And Cornette bumps that real well. I thought, like,
Oh,
he's
yeah.
like, he is so into
Tennis
it.
racket goes flying.
Yeah.
boom.
And
He is
he's
so
out.
into
He's
it.
just out.
That's what
We're
made
just trying
him.
to, like,
That's what
wake
made
him
him a fantastic manager. Is he would piss you off to the point you wanted to get punched in his face, and when he did, he sold it.
Yeah.
like-
Oh, he sold
like,
it perfectly.
It was a satisfying good. That little shit got his
Yeah.
comeuppance. You know.
Yeah.
Jim
Yeah.
Cornette is an immensely talented manager.
Yeah.
It's
In
sec-
his high school
second
marching
best
band.
manager of all time.
He annoys the fuck out of me sometimes with his
Outfit.
takes on wrestling,
He's
but
great.
he's a wrestling historian. There's no one who's gonna
Yes.
tell you history of wrestling better except Brian.
Oh no. Jim Cornette
No,
makes
fuck that.
Jim Cornette would make me look like I know nothing.
Jim knows stuff from like the 50s.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh,
He knows his shit.
Yeah, like and his co-host too, Brian Last is
yeah, Brian Laston is pretty good too.
And so so Cornette gets knocked out. Piper's counting really fast for both guys.
Oh
Like,
my
it's just
God. Yeah, he's like 1, 2.
Shows running
3.
along.
for the countouts too.
He
Yeah,
does the 9, get back in here, get back in here. And then they get in and like, okay.
and it's funny because he's
I'm a fast counter.
he's in this match with Brett, but his last WrestleMania match, he wrestled Brett in at WrestleMania.
Hand me
8.
that box. Yeah.
So-
if we're talking Piper, I got to do something here.
So then Brett also gets a flying bulldog for 2, and so you're finished, and it's a little like it didn't really make Brett look great. Yoko,
No.
yeah,
Yoko's on the second rope and falls.
yeah, he's going for the bonsai drop, but he starts to slip a little bit and falls
Yeah,
backward.
he
And
loses his balance and
they did this in a match he had with Austin once.
You gotta
Oh.
specify.
They live.
Oh, he should have.
Kick
He
ass
should
and
have built
chew
it up a
bubble
little
gum.
bit.
I came here to kick ass and chew bubble gum, and I'm all out of bubble gum.
We came here to
Yeah.
kick ass and chew bubblegum.
They live glasses that were featured.
Kick ass and chew bubble
His
gum.
action figure came out, but I didn't have money at the time. I was like, oh,
Now it's probably
One of
gone
my
forever.
one of my favorite parts of Saints Row
no
4.
big deal.
Did you ever play Saints Row
Yeah,
4?
yeah, I did.
Roddy Piper is one of the people you can that can join you as like your homie,
Yeah.
and he'll help you fight. Because Keith David is the vice president in They
Yeah.
Live. His co-star in They Live is your vice president. You play the president of the United States, and then there's this whole scene where you're in the alley from They Live, and Piper shows
Yeah,
up.
you have to fight.
Like you hear bagpipes. It's great. So back in the ring, Yokozuna falls off the second rope. Bret Hart covers him 1, 2, 3,
Not
and
good.
new champion.
Yep.
New champion.
Two guys come out to celebrate.
Yeah, Yoko chases Roddy Piper to the back, but against that invisible wall, like Roddy runs to the back, but he's still on camera. He's kind of slows to a
Yeah.
walk. And Yoko's like, oh shit, I'm gonna slow down too. So Luger's in there. Luger comes out first. He's like, is Luger gonna blast hard? Is Luger turning heel here? No, he shakes his hand. The baby faces all come out. The celebrities come in. Burt Reynolds is celebrating, and
Hammered.
Rhonda
Tatanka.
Shear, Tatanka, like all the people from the canceled match. Gorilla Monsoon's out there. Vince comes in the ring. Like the commentary just goes dead. Like even Lawler's hated Bret Hart. He's had a blood feud with him for a year now. He just kind of shuts up.
Yeah.
And everybody's celebrating, got Bret up on their shoulders. And then Owen Hart comes out to just watch and like just angry. Like, I beat my brother. I upstaged my brother. I was the best heart.
Tonight's my night.
Tonight's my night. And then Brett wins the WWF title and ruins it.
And he puts the rope down to give him the come on in.
Savage though,
and
yeah, Savage like, sits on the
does.
rope and is like, come on in, like
Well, I had
join
seen-
the
I had a s-
celebration.
I had seen that that was Savage's idea, that everybody comes out and celebrates in
smart.
the wing.
Vince did want Randy Savage to do more like office and creative stuff at this point, but
Yep.
Savage had then said that he wanted to be a wrestler.
Yeah.
But
he said he was cool with leaving, but he wanted. Well, this is what his brother says in the one documentary, because he was okay hanging up the boots and not doing it again, but he wanted one last feud from commentary with Shawn Michaels, and he wanted to end his career with Shawn Michaels.
yeah, that was commonly known. Yeah.
and Vince was like, no, and then she's like, all right, well then I'm WCW's calling,
I think that
wouldn't
was-
you? Why wouldn't you give it to him?
because he Vince didn't see it.
I think he wanted the thing with Michaels before this. I think it was like WrestleMania 9 he wanted to do that.
Well, his brother said it was during the commentary with like the commentary angle stuff.
WrestleMania 9 he was also doing commentary.
Yeah, he was,
wrestled on the
yeah.
show.
And
In
I get-
WrestleMania 8 he won a title.
Vince didn't see any value in it and said no. Which I mean, if we would
So
get
Vince
fucking
was kind of mindless all throughout his whole career.
and at this point, Vince is also like he's delegating more than ever a lot of the creative to like Patterson,
Yep.
people like that, because Vince at this point is probably thinking, I'm going to go to jail.
Yeah.
I'm going to jail soon.
I gave all the
I
candy.
got away with the Superfly thing, but I don't know if I'm gonna get away with
Yeah.
this.
And then Jerry McDevitt works his magic.
And he's all right.
And I love this story. And I don't know if this is true or not. But there's you always hear this rumor that right before the jury went into deliberations, the last day of the trial, they had Alpha and Sika come into the courtroom, and they just sat in the they just sat, these big, just tough looking Samoan guys just sit in the like kind of area behind where the defendants sit, and they're just staring at the jury and going, not guilty. Just mouthing not guilty. I don't know if that's true or not, but
Yeah.
it would sway my vote.
It would sway me
It's a
100%.
good tale. So WrestleMania 10, 2-match show.
But boy, are those two matches good.
According to Tony, it's a 3-match show.
Yeah, it's
Three,
it's
possibly
doing-
four.
it's
What's
it's
the fourth one?
Brett and Owen, it's Michaels and Razor, and it's I don't know.
And it's Luna and fucking Bam Bam versus Doink and Dink.
Dink.
Yeah, it's the third one.
And
So you love these Dana
What was
Brooke
the fourth
Reggie
one?
Yeah,
segments?
what's the fourth
I
one?
don't watch the fourth one.
You would love Raw now. If you like that Bam Bam match, you would love Raw.
Raw now.
You
yeah.
should watch
Yeah.
Raw and not
Maybe I
watch
should.
AEW.
I should try. Yeah. And then the fourth, I mean, I'll just give it because it's Savage, but Savage and Crush.
Okay. That's probably what everyone would say third. if
Yeah.
they pick a third one.
And the tag title match is not
Oh, the tag
great,
title match. The
but
fucking Quebecers fucking
PCO
carried it.
works his ass off.
Yeah, he
for that
works his
match.
ass off in that match.
But
I was entertained by it.
the show, like the bookends are so good, and
Yep.
if you just look at it, even though the Brett Yoko match isn't great, just the bookend story of that.
Yeah, the ending sequence of everyone in the ring is still fucking.
Yeah.
It sends you home happy. You
And just
kind
the-
of forgot you watched some shitty matches.
The story they told with Owen is just so good
Yeah.
Yep.
too. And Owen was great. Owen was
Mhm.
perfect in his role.
I just remember being a kid and being like, "Oh my god, we're gonna see more Brett versus Owen," and I was really pumped for it. And
And it was great.
Yeah.
They did it. Yeah, that's SummerSlam 94, a one-match show. Razor and Diesel wasn't that bad. That was where Razor Ramon won the Intercontinental title back, and Walter Payton was in his corner. But yeah, Brett and Owen in a cage is amazing, and it's not the main event.
Yeah.
The main event is Undertaker versus Undertaker.
Not amazing.
I have a soft spot for that match, even
I
though
mean,
it's awful.
when I was a kid, I
It-
was
it is
so
it
vested
is a
in that.
bad match that I enjoy.
It's an interesting show. You know, it's like going to see Guar. The music's not that good, but it's a good stage show.
Yeah.
76 just tweeted this. Just two casual 76ers fans cheering on their team.
Oh, I
Aw.
didn't even recognize Caitlin Olsen there. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I didn't know. Well, yeah, I didn't see them in a while, and they both look much older.
Yes.
Yeah.
But no, I take that back. There is another very good match on that SummerSlam. Alundra Blaze and Bull Nakano
Oh,
had
okay,
a
that's probably
really
good.
good match on that. Forget that Leilani Kai match. Watch SummerSlam 94 and watch the cage match of Brett and Owen, and watch Alundra Blaze and Bull Nakano.
Well, thank you all for hanging out with us here on Tornado Tag Podcast. We're gonna go around the table. I'll start with you, Andy. What do you got to plug?
Let me pull it up here so I can get it corrected. So the RWF is the show this Sunday at the HMAC in Harrisburg. It will start doors are at 5. The show is at 6 p.m. And I'll run down the big names.
I was gonna rush through this. I was gonna rush to this to go see Sergeant, but now I can just see him in Hamburg.
Yeah. So and
Sorry.
well, when you go there, there's more people at the convention. You know?
Yeah.
So Zach Gowen, the one-legged guy from WWE, I didn't know he still wrestled. Eugene will be there. Chris Masters, who I believe is Chris Adonis now.
Yep.
The Master Lock, Davey Richards, and then Sergeant Slaughter is be there. I don't think he'll be wrestling.
I want to see Sergeant Slaughter and Davey Richards.
Yeah,
now. That would be something.
in a 50-minute class.
Who's Davey Richards wrestling?
Then no matches announced really.
Do you know who you're wrestling?
Yes.
Not
Not
Davey
Davey
Richards.
Richards?
I don't think no.
Not Sergeant
They
Slaughter?
didn't announce my match, but it is a ladder match. So how about that? Ain't that fitting?
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you gonna do the Scott Hall and walk?
You're gonna walk
underneath it?
under the ladder?
Yes, there's one there. Yeah. Kimberly's there. Madman Pondo, Schlack, a couple deathmatch guys. So
HMAC's a cool venue. You'll have a
it
good
should be
time.
pretty cool. I don't know how much. Advance tickets 20 for front row, 15 general admission, and 10 for kids.
And you gotta
under.
carry. They have to carry that ring up the fucking second floor.
Yeah, then
Oh.
there's the elevator. Yeah, it should be a fun time. So 6 p.m. March 27th for those people that know this Sunday. RWF baby.
It's funny, we're talking on Breakfast and Body. Tony and I were on Breakfast and Body Slams with Chio over the weekend talking about Scott Hall, and we were talking about those Manhattan Center Raws and how much it must have sucked in that ring.
I think I had to take up 3 or 4 flights.
Yeah, have you ever been to the Manhattan Center?
I've only been to the Hammerstein Ballroom.
Yeah, the Manhattan Center is
You can
above
walk-
it,
Right, yeah, right.
and there's an elevator. Like usually they'll put the fans on an elevator like a few at a time, but I took the steps down a few times. It is a big walk. It's like 4 or 5 stories.
Yeah, it's a big building,
or
yeah.
more. Yeah, it's huge.
All right. Anything else?
No, that's it wrestling wise for me. And you guys will plug the show, so I don't have to.
All right, Brian.
It's on my head here. Murder My Dude is this is a week off for us, but we did have our Murder Oh Dude episode last week. Next week, I think we're going to be doing a one of my favorite things, a con man, a guy who pretended to be a Rockefeller, a guy who was a poor man from Europe, I think Germany, who kind of conned his way across.
I'm
the
watching a
United
con
States.
man story right now on Netflix. The girl who the vegan restaurant girl who
Oh,
her boyfriend convinced her she was an alien. He was an alien, and he can give her immortal life. Her
I
and her
haven't
dog.
watched that yet.
Oh.
Interesting.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can find all the Murder My Dude stuff at projecthumanoid.com or just look up Murder My Dude wherever you're listening to this show, and you'll find that show too.
All right, Kelly.
Hey, I'm gonna plug Truth Behind the Illusion. We just had it on Tuesday. We talked all forms of divination. We had some debates also. So check that out. Check the rest of the network out. Not Cool in High School. What are you doing this week?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Okay. Well then,
They'll be doing something interesting.
yeah,
Stop
they'll
talking
be
something pop culture.
talking something pop culture. Then, so they're this Tuesday and Banging Beers Sunday too.
Yeah,
So-
interviews that people should be dropping this week. I been busy at work, and I'll probably stay up a little bit later tonight and try to get some of the edits done. But we had I had on a guy McAdoo who he works for Funk, and he does some trivia in that area. Dave McAdoo, so that was a cool interview. We got to do that Cabana
works for-
Entertainment.
Terry Funk?
He works for Terry Funk. Yeah.
Forever. Flash Funk.
So yeah, that's gonna be coming out this week, and then I have Jim Holbert coming on Monday, local independent referee guy. So that should be fun.
Not the guy from The Office.
Not the guy from the Hall, but not Jim Halpert. No.
Not Jim Halpert.
All right, that'll do it. Tornado Tag Podcast. Sorry we ran a little late this week. We got excited. Episode
Hey, you don't have to
147.
apologize.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Between
Yeah.
the Sheets sometimes has 5-hour podcast.
Yeah, there are a lot of wrestling podcasts that go. The Lapsed Fan.
I have some people who get mad when we don't go longer. They're like, "Yo, I like longer." podcasts."
I tend to run out of gas around this time.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 hours.
Do we
like,
have an idea what we're doing next week?
current stuff? We're going to be talking about WrestleMania weekend. We're
Yeah,
gonna
it'll be
preview the show.
WrestleMania that Saturday.
We'll be recap and Sunday. But we'll also be talking about more about the GCW stuff. At that point, we'll have Bloodsport will be over. We'll kind of cover what has already happened, what's to come. It's going to be a big WrestleMania weekend preview. It's going to be a good way to get ready for that
ROH
Friday, Saturday, and
Supercard
Sunday.
of Honor.
Yeah,
Briscoe.
this week,
Briscoes and FTR.
this week and next week will be pre WrestleMania, and then we'll be doing post WrestleMania.
And not just
I think we'll have a
WrestleMania.
guest on post WrestleMania.
Not just WrestleMania, but WrestleMania weekend, because it's not just WrestleMania.
There's so much
going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mania weekend. All right, well that'll do it. Tornado Tech Podcast. We're out of here. Also, if you know anyone who's a local musician or artist and they know how to make good music and they want to make music for any of the shows on the network, please hit us up. we'll put you in contact with each member of the show, and they can kind of give you an idea what they're thinking. And obviously, you guys can work in the middle. But if you want to be the new music of Tornado Tag Podcast or any of the shows in the network, let us know. We would love to work with you and maybe work out some deals so we can get you paid or send you some merchandise or whatever you want to do. So if you know anyone, let them know and say we're interested. We'll talk to you guys next time. Tornado Tag Podcast. We're out of here.